Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And today we've got a couple things that I wanted to cover. Again, as I kind of explained yesterday, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm working on with the channel and changing that out. And because of that, I'm actually been like debating each night doing a stream or not, and I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do, but then I decided, yeah, I've got to keep the streams going during all of this stuff still. So I thought a lot of people have been talking about Devin Nunes's lawsuit against Twitter, and because there's big news in it just the other day. So we're going to talk about Devin Nunes's lawsuit against Twitter. I figured we'd go through it, kind of the old style. We'll go through the complaint. It's 40 pages, so it should take a good amount of time to get through. We'll see what's going on, and we'll talk about the news that just happened around it, because this is another one of those cases where a bunch of people decided, yeah, this thing has no merit to it. It's going to get laughed out of court. Nothing's going to happen. Blah, 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 blah. Section 230. Defamation's really hard. All of that stuff. And here we have a judge that said, now, wait a minute. I'm not throwing this out just yet. Just yet. Now, it hasn't hit major hurdles yet. There's, right now it's facing a jurisdictional challenge. And, the judge seems to be willing to allow that jurisdictional part to go unchallenged, but to go through. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on, and this might have something to do with how Twitter's treating the situation. But as I was reading about it, I found the whole thing to be pretty informative, or not informative, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. It's a how do I put this? It's got a whole lot of legal issues and a whole lot of, I guess, principle issues that we have to examine as we move forward in this internet age. Issues about what is defamation, who do we want to be drawn into lawsuits, how much protection do we want to have companies, how much privacy do we want? All of those things are incorporated into this lawsuit. And I am, at the moment, neutral on the suit. As far as like who is doing what. I'm not 100% on board with Mr. Nunes's accusations of defamation. But at the same time, I'm really not 100% on board with how Twitter handles their terms of service, how Twitter handles bannings, how Twitter censors speech selectively, and all of that stuff. There's some real good questions being asked by this suit about what power does Twitter have, and what role does the court have in enforcing the things that I've kind of been talking about over the last couple days, which are these adhesion contracts and these terms of service. Of course, that leads into questions about Blizzard and what speech they can and should allow and can't allow. And I tell you what, yesterday people were asking me about Blizzard, and I saw some people saying, hey, Blizzard can do what it wants. And that's a fine opinion to have. Absolutely. But today, Blizzard is getting absolutely pounded on social media. It seems like they have issues internally with employees who disagree with how they've handled the situation. And that's to be expected. They made a very public political statement by responding to a political statement, right? Like, again, there's this, Blizzard could have come out and made a very simple statement that said, look, the views and expressed by competitors in Blizzard's leagues or whatever are, their views expressed by those competitors, and they don't belong to Blizzard at all. That's how most companies handle stuff like this. And that's a political statement too, right? Like, but what they did was they went all the way. They went all the way on it and banned this guy. And now apparently they're making other statements about people getting banned. They've disabled the ability to cancel your account, all of this stuff. They're really having a bad PR moment right now. And in light of that, on Saturday night, same time as normal, 11 p.m. Central Time, Mark Kern will be on the show to talk about it. Mark, of course, being a former Blizzard employee, I assume still has large connections and ties to the company, is well up on this news, has been vocal about it. So Mark will be joining me. We're trying to decide on a communist liquor to drink for the stream. If you guys have any suggestions about a good commie liquor that would be appropriate for the stream, please find a way to get it messaged to me, and I'll get that to Mark so we can maybe both drink it. So, oh my goodness. So that's Saturday. Tomorrow we will have a Second Amendment themed stream with a pro Second Amendment attorney down in Florida who handles red flag issues. I will announce the stream on YouTube. I will announce the stream through my intern tomorrow on Twitter. My intern will be tweeting that for me. So that will be announced tomorrow, and I'll announce who the lawyer is and all of that stuff on those platforms. So do kind of stay tuned to the community tab here on YouTube. I am going to be attempting to utilize it and note how the response is for the show announcements. If you guys could do me a favor, and this is up to you, this is literally me asking for a favor, but if you are seeing those announcements, please take just a second and give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you don't like the use of the community tab, be vocal about it. That's fine. I need to know how far it's spreading, and I'll be candid with you on this. I've been talking about this, but YouTube is unsubscribing people from my channel right now. It's happening. I've gotten reports from more than one person. I see the subscriber count and how it goes up and then it goes down like almost the exact same amount every day. So there is, I don't know if it's personal. I have no idea why it would be personal, or if it's related to some changes YouTube made very recently in how they do subscribers. I'm not sure, but what I do know is I have people coming into the comment section saying, hey, I got unsubscribed from your channel, and I can actually see that taking place in real time, where you gain subscribers and then lose them within a matter of minutes. So I don't know what's causing that, but if you guys could help me gauge interaction on the community tab, again, if you're so inclined, by just doing a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that helps me get an immediate metric on how many people are seeing these things. And that would be really, really helpful for me. But, you know, if you don't do it, I will just never know. So, that's what I've got on that. But yes, so I'll be announcing the show tomorrow on YouTube. I'll have my intern announce it on Twitter, and that will be with the Second Amendment lawyer. We will be talking about how red flag laws actually work in the wild. This is a lawyer down in Florida who deals with the red flag protective orders as a major practice area. So that should be really interesting. I'm curious to know how they affect people in real life. I have my ideas on how they affect people, but I'm curious to see how that plays out. For now, that's the major announcements I have. I don't know about doing a stream on Sunday at all, but tomorrow and Saturday there will be streams. Also, I'm working on a video. That was some military special I was pouring. deciding to punish myself. I'm working on a video. I mentioned some short videos, and there's a video that's going to come out about how to be an anime mafia don, basically. So you guys can noodle over what that means. But just know that there will be some interesting screenshots, and there will be some interesting thoughts and discussion about a purely hypothetical anime industry don. So that's that. Oh, the other thing we're going to cover tonight, we're going to cover the Nunes lawsuit. There's also an article that came out from a very reputable news source called truthout.org. I will be discussing this article, sections of the article, which specifically relate to me, and we're going to assess the honesty and integrity of the journalist who is reporting on this Vic Mignogna situation and on me specifically. So that will be a lot of fun to look through. We're going to cover that tonight as well. And we're going to take just a glance at one of the other articles on this very, very unbiased bastion of journalism called truthout.org. So that's what we've got going on today. I think that article might give you guys a taste of what this publication's all about, and that'll be funny. So I'm happy to report very briefly on the drama issue. I'm happy to report that Mad Black is on vacation, and that's why archive channels with Mad Black's videos are all getting copy struck. He's nowhere near a computer, but he is putting in copyright claims. Well, I don't know how he could. Let me suggest this. Let me suggest it this way. Archive channels are having copyright claims put on them by definitely not the guy who's on vacation hundreds of miles from his computer, who's staying out of this, who's staying off the internet. So that being said, that's the minor drama update. That's as far as I'm going to get into it, and only because it's a little funny. It's a little bit funny. Final housekeeping thing before we really start getting into it. I am going to attempt to call into the Dick Show on Sunday. So if you are a Dick Show live listener, I hope to call into the Dick Show on Sunday. I think I'm actually free during recording time, and we'll be attempting to make a call in. I haven't called in a while, and just love to talk to Dick, ask him about his balls and all of that stuff. So hopefully some of you will join us for that. Otherwise, you'll probably see that come out on Tuesday. So that being said, I suppose we can get started. We can get started on this thing. We got a couple early chats that I want to get to before we get fully into it. I Like the Spike Man says, free Hong Kong and communism. My prediction, 2070, China straight up wiped off the map. Bye, bye, bye. That message brought to you by, was it NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? Bye, bye, bye. I don't remember. Ristercrap says, here's some money for your commie drink. Let's use capitalism to support communism. Perfect. I love it. Okay, we're going to get started. Oh, one final announcement. I'm very happy to report that the Ridge Wallet Company has decided to extend their sponsorship of the channel. So they are, I can't talk well enough about how cool these guys seem to be, right? Like there's such a hesitancy to put a sponsorship and to put your brand onto someone's channel and onto YouTube and onto that. I've clearly been getting some heat in various media and stuff like that, but Ridge decided to re-up. So I don't think that they do or don't endorse any particular views on this channel. I would never look at it that way. What I do see is that they seem to, be a company that's willing to allow people to have their free speech, at least a good amount of it, and they're willing to let to advertise to people, and to share their products with a multitude of creators. I don't know how else to say it. But they have been wonderful partners, and I look forward to that going forward. So there will be some Ridge wallet spots coming up in the near future, and I hope to show off. They've got a new wallet that came out, and I hope to show off that new wallet and stuff like that so that you guys can see it. But yeah. Anyway, I've been nothing but pleased with mine. Still use it every day, but I will shill it hard in officially paid promoted spots coming up. You'll know when those are because I'll talk about them. I just wanted to announce that we've extended that partnership, so that's very cool in my opinion. I hope you guys like the Ridge products. Yeah. So that being said, where are we? Where's that? Oh, hold on. I gotta pull up the Nunes lawsuit. I had it pulled up and then I put it away. Ha! Here we go. Let's, there we are. So this lawsuit is very interesting. From the start, this is a circuit court for the county of Henrico County in Virginia. Now, you may ask yourself some weird questions like, is Devin Nunes in Virginia? No. Nope, Devin Nunes is a California congressman. He is not a resident of Virginia. He has brought this suit against several people, alleging at least one of them to be in Virginia. So that is why the suit is brought in Virginia. Of course, Twitter is trying to argue that Virginia is an inconvenient forum for Twitter to be hailed into court. And the judge kind of went, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid on that one. It's certainly not an inconvenient forum for a company that is a multi-billion-dollar company with, that operates in over 200 countries and certainly chooses to operate in every state of the United States. Whether or not jurisdiction is appropriate is a different question as to whether the forum is convenient. So the judge rejected the idea that it's not a convenient forum for Twitter, or that they are substantially burdened by participating in the forum. However, the judge has not ruled on jurisdiction as of yet. But let's kind of get into this. Let's get into this. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm wearing like an Under Armour sweatshirt thing because it's cold outside, but good Lord, it's toasty. It's toasty here in the vault. All right, so plaintiff Devin G. Nunes by counsel files the following complaint against defendants Twitter Incorporated, Elizabeth A. Liz Mayer, Mayer Strategies LLC, Devin Nunes' mom, which is at Devin Nunes' mom, and Devin Nunes' cow, at Devin Cow, jointly and severally. So Devin Nunes is apparently suing Twitter, Liz Mayer, his mom, and his cow, as far as I can tell at the onset. Plaintiff seeks compensatory damages and punitive damages in an amount not less than $250 million. Prejudgment interest on the principal sum awarded by the jury from March 18th to the date of judgment at the rate of 6% per year, pursuant to the Virginia Code as amended. Injunctive relief means knock it off. That's where the court tells them to stop. And court costs arising out of defendant's negligence, defamation per se, insulting words, and civil conspiracy. Now, insulting words is an interesting cause of action. I don't know that insulting words is, but maybe under Virginia law, insulting words is a cause of action. I guess we'll see what their argument is. I'm a little bit surprised to see that one. But we do have civil conspiracy, defendant's negligence, and defamation per se. We should be a little bit familiar with these ideas. Now, as for the alarming amount, $250 million. Part of this is the punitive damages, right? So the way punitive damages work is the punitive damage has to be sufficient to deter the activity. It has to be a damage sufficient to deter the activity. Twitter is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, so Nunes and his lawyers have gotten together and decided that this $250 million figure would be a sufficient punitive damage to deter Twitter, oh my goodness, from engaging in this activity in the future. That's the idea here. That's where that number comes from. No way is Devin Nunes going to claim that he was personally damaged to the tune of $250 million. So, there's that introduction. Look at this. There is... Oh, there's 2 lines and then a whole page of footnote. Oh, goodness gracious. Twitter is an information content provider. Now, this is going to go into the Section 230 definition. That's what's going to take a big giant chunk out of this page. Twitter creates and develops content in whole or in part through a combination of means. What is up? What is up with the yawning? All right, let's take a gander. I'm going to skim the footnotes. Maybe grab key ideas. Term information content provider means any person or entity that is responsible in whole or in part for the creation or development of information provided through the internet or any other interactive computer service. Responsible has normative connotation. Let's see. Accordingly, to be responsible for the development of offensive content, such as defamation, one must be more than a neutral conduit for that content. One is not responsible for the development of offensive content if one's conduct was neutral with respect to the offensiveness of the content, as would be the case with the typical internet bulletin board. We would not ordinarily say that one who builds a highway is responsible for use of that highway by a fleeing bank robber, even though the culprit's escape was facilitated by the availability. Twitter is responsible for the development of offensive content on its platform because it in some way specifically encourages development of what is offensive about the content. And that's citing FTC versus AccuSearch Incorporated. A website helps to develop unlawful content if it contributes materially to the alleged illegality of the conduct. So here's the legal theory we can start seeing to develop. Nunes is going to argue that Twitter's unequal application of its terms of service, its inability to, or its unwillingness to apply its terms of service to people in some instances that seem to be either motivated personally or politically, will then make them culpable in the unlawful act. This is them attempting to very quickly get around this is how they're going to try and get around part of 230 and also add Twitter's liability to the words of other people. So probably a thin legal theory, but that's what they're going with. The word develop derives from the old French développer, which means in essence to unwrap. The dictionary definitions for develop correspondingly revolve around the act of drawing something out, making it visible, active, or usable. Thus, a photograph, look at this photograph, is developed by chemical processes exposing a latent image. Likewise, when confidential information is exposed to public view, that information is developed. So they're going to now suggest that probably state that Twitter is developing this information because it is refusing to police the confidential nature of the information. Content is information. It is a principal substance offered by a website. Okay, so through a combination of means. Back up to the argument. By explicit censorship of viewpoints with which it disagrees. Now, Twitter doesn't do that, though. Twitter doesn't do that. No way. By shadow banning conservatives, such as a plaintiff. Nah, what are we talking about here? Knowingly hosting and monetizing content that is clearly abusive, hateful, and defamatory. Ooh. That's an interesting claim. This is where I start to draw the line a bit. This is where I start to draw the line. Now, I know what they're trying to do here. They're trying to tie Twitter's inaction versus Twitter's action into making them responsible for the defamatory content. But we have to be very, very, very careful with this, because websites ultimately who are neutral should not have liability for content that's posted on it, right? If a website is neutral in how it deals with this material, then it should not be held liable. This is why I don't actually think that these websites should be removing content. I don't care that they're private entities. This is why I don't think they should remove content unless it is clearly unlawful. Child pornography is clearly unlawful, and that's what CDA 230 was designed to allow them to police. Police this content as best you can, and you won't be responsible for the other stuff. But other offensive content. Here, Twitter, by removing all sorts of content deemed offensive, or for banning accounts for alleged threats of violence which never, ever, ever occurred, for example, for doing that selectively and not enforcing their terms of service on other users, may make them culpable in those other alleged events. If Twitter allowed all of the defamation to just stay up and not pick favorites, then no one could say Twitter was abusing the system. Okay? So, here we go. So by knowingly hosting and monetizing content that is clearly abusive, hateful, and defamatory, providing both a voice and financial incentive to the defamers, thereby facilitating defamation on its platform. By completely ignoring lawful complaints about offensive content and by allowing that content to remain accessible to the public, and by intentionally abandoning and refusing to enforce its so-called terms of service and Twitter rules, essentially refusing to self-regulate, thereby selectively amplifying the message of defamers such as Mayor, Devin Nunes' mom, and Devin Nunes' cow, and materially contributing to the libelousness of the hundreds of posts at issue in this action. So, there is that. They are adding in Twitter as culpable to the words of others based on their selective enforcement. Twitter created and developed the content at issue in this case by transforming false accusations of criminal conduct, imputed wrongdoing, dishonesty, and lack of integrity into a publicly available commodity used by unscrupulous political operatives and their donor clients as a weapon. Twitter knew the defamation was and is happening. Twitter let it happen because Twitter had and has a political agenda and motive. Twitter allowed and allows its platform to serve as a portal of defamation in order to undermine public confidence in plaintiff and to benefit his opponents and opponents of the Republican Party. In this case, Twitter contributed materially to the illegal conduct of defamers Mayor, Devin Nunes' mom, and Devin Nunes' cow. Twitter, by its actions, intended to generate and proliferate the false and defamatory statements about plaintiff in order to influence the outcome of the 2018 congressional election and to intimidate plaintiff and interfere with his important investigation of corruption by the Clinton campaign and alleged Russian involvement in the 2016 presidential election. Twitter knowingly acted as a vessel of opposition research. So there you go. Parties. Devin Nunes is a citizen of California, born October 1st, 1973, served in the U.S. House of Reps since 2003. He currently represents California's 22nd Congressional District, located in the San Joaquin Valley, and includes portions of Tulare and Fresno counties. He and his wife have 3 daughters. He is the author of the book Restoring the Republic, which was published in September 2010. That's a little bit lofty, Devin. Nunes was born in Tulare, California. His family is of Portuguese descent, having emigrated from the Azores to California. From childhood, he worked on a farm that his family operated in Tulare County for 3 generations. Nunes raised cattle as a teenager, used his savings to begin a harvesting business, and then bought his own farmland with his brother. Nunes graduated from Tulare Union High School. After associate's work at a college of the Sequoias, Nunes graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he received a bachelor's degree in agricultural business and a master's degree in agriculture. Nunes was first elected to public office as one of California's youngest community college trustees in state history at the age of 23. Look at this. They've got his entire freaking bio in here. As a member of the College of the Sequoias board from 1996 to 2002, he was an advocate for distance learning and the expansion of programs available to high school students. In 2001, he was appointed by President George Bush to serve as California State Director for the United States Department of Agriculture's Rural Development Section. He left his post to run for California's 21st Congressional District and now serves in the 22nd District as a result of redistricting in 2010. Serves as ranking member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, having been appointed to the committee in the 112th Congress and serving as committee chairman during the 114th and 15th. He was appointed to the Ways and Means Committee in the 109th Congress and now serves as ranking member of the Health Subcommittee and a member of the Trade Subcommittee, having served as chairman of the Trade Subcommittee on the 113th Congress. Look at this. This entire... Nunes previously served as a member of the House Budget Committee during the 111th Congress. In the 108th Congress, his first term in the House of Representatives, he served on the House Resources Committee, in which he was chairman of the National Park Subcommittee and on the Agriculture and Veteran Affairs Committees. Congressman Nunes has traveled extensively to war zones to meet with soldiers and examine firsthand their status. This is a bit much. As a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, he participates in oversight of the U.S. national security apparatus, including the intelligence-related service activities of 17 agencies, departments, and other elements of the United States government. Nunes authored the Hubbard Act of 2008, which was named in honor of Hubbard brothers in California, Jared, Nathan, and Jason. Jared and Nathan lost their lives serving in Iraq. Jason was discharged as a sole survivor, but was denied separation benefits upon leaving the Army. Hubbard Act, which was enacted into law, provides sole survivors with numerous benefits that were already offered to other soldiers honorably discharged. It relieves sole survivors from repaying any portion of their enlistment bonus, entitles them to educational benefits of the Montgomery GI Bill, and allows them to receive separation pay and transitional health care coverage. You can learn more about Devin Nunes here. In case you don't know enough about Devin Nunes, you can just go ahead and go to these websites. Good Lord! Nunes' career as a U.S. congressman is distinguished by his honor, dedication, and service to his constituents and his country, his honesty, integrity, ethics, and reputation for truthfulness and veracity. In 2018, during his last re-election for the 22nd Congressional District, this is the most information they could possibly provide about this dork. Come on, Devin. We don't need your CV. During his last re-election for the 22nd Congressional District, Nunes endured an orchestrated defamation campaign. This here does not belong in the party section. Not at all. This doesn't belong here. This belongs in the facts section. Orchestrated defamation campaign of stunning breadth and scope. Stunning breadth is any time Lemoyne takes one. One that no human being should ever have to bear and suffer in their whole life. Listen, guys. Devin Nunes is hurt by this. No one should have to go through what Devin did. For just $10 a day, you can prevent the suffering of another Devin at the hands of online bullies. Unlike prior elections where Nunes won by sweeping majorities, Nunes won on November 6, 2018 by a much narrower margin, receiving 52.7% of the 222,379 votes. The malicious, false, and defamatory statements and relentless attacks on Nunes' reputation did not stop after he won the congressional election in 2018. The defamation continues. It must be stopped. This does not belong in the party section. I don't care. I don't care at all. This sounds... They're going to try and establish that as damages. Look at the obvious reputational damages. No way. No way is a judge going to buy that argument. So hopefully they're going to have more than that. Or they're going to have a lot of data to back that up. What? I did not take down the West Nile listing. No, we got to look into that. I didn't get any information from Teespring on taking down that listing, so we gotta see what's going on. I don't. That pisses me off. Defendant Twitter is a Delaware corporation. Its principal executive office headquarters is in California. And by the way, if Teespring is taking down my campaign, then or taking down shirts, we'll move them. We'll find a West Nile Best Nile host yet. Twitter is a public company with 35 plus offices worldwide. In its 2017 annual report on Form 10-K filed with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, Twitter made the following representation about its business and primary service. Quote, this is from Twitter. Twitter is the best place to see what's happening and what people are talking about. Every day, instances of breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, big events, and everyday interests happen first on Twitter. Twitter is where the full story unfolds with live commentary and where live events come to life unlike anywhere else. Our primary service can be accessed on a variety of mobile devices at twitter.com and via SMS, unless you are Rekieta Law. Our primary service, Twitter, is a global platform for public self-expression and conversation in real time, unless that self-expression offends an SJW. Twitter allows people to consume, create, distribute, and discover content and has democratized content creation and distribution. Unless you are guilty of wrongthing, comrade, then we will teach you true meaning of democracy, okay? Listen, true meaning of democracy is, well, it is democratic so long as democratic aligns with dictator, okay? Ian Leslie says, couldn't this case just be an attempt to get Twitter to supply documents in discovery? I think you may be onto something. I think you may be onto something. But let's, I'm taking it at face value here. Taking it at face value. I guess Teespring is offended by the West Nile Best Nile, maybe. Okay. Our primary, global, blah, blah, blah. Twitter, okay. To the reach of Twitter content is not limited to our logged in users on the Twitter platform, but rather extends to a larger global audience. No. There's two West Nile mugs. There's one that has a blank backside of it. Kind of like, I'm not going to say it. If I was one more military special in, I would have said it. There's one that has a blank backside, and the other says West Nile, Best Nile on it. So, the mug is still there, but the t-shirt is gone. Weird. Very, very strange. I don't know. Like I said, I've got to look into it. I don't remember getting any notice from them. So the public. So this is interesting. So this is part of Twitter's argument in other areas, including Jack Dorsey. As you know, Twitter is facing some interesting First Amendment claims by journalists because President Trump has banned people on Twitter. or blocked people on Twitter. And then a federal court came in and said that the president of the United States can't block people on Twitter because that restricts their access to to political speech. And then one of the arguments for that was, well, look, it doesn't matter if they're blocked. They can still listen to the president by by logging in or by accessing the tweet with a non-logged in account. So they can just look at the president's timeline and see all of the stuff he puts out. So not actually being prevented access to the president in that way. And the counter argument is, of course, but they can't post if they're blocked. So Twitter has this problem, and I'm not sure that they're fully prepared to deal with it. The problem is Twitter is happy to host politicians and political speech, but Twitter is also happy to stop people from using that political speech. Now, right now, it's limited to the politicians themselves blocking people from their pages, according to this one federal district court. Of course, that hasn't been adjudicated by the Supreme Court yet, so it doesn't have as many teeth as it needs yet. However, Twitter is going to face this problem eventually. There is a U.S. law that states that a private actor may not act in a way to deprive guaranteed constitutional rights of another person. And typically, it's really hard to suggest that one person can prevent the free speech of another one. And I don't believe that law has really applied to speech, as it were. But the plain language of the statute should be able to provide protection from a private entity stepping in and impacting your ability to speak freely. Now, if a lower court, there's some stuff that has to happen here. If the Supreme Court maintains that the Twitter profiles of politicians are political speech that is protected by the First Amendment, and therefore they're not allowed to block people, Twitter is going to have a very, very tough time, as repeated attempts will be made to expand that definition to suggest that Twitter's activity in blocking someone from the platform prevents their ability to engage with this political speech that Twitter profits from and is happy to have on their platform. If you think about it, just about every government entity you can think of has a Twitter platform. Heck, if you check your local township, it might have a Twitter platform, which is really weird to think about. Your county watershed districts can have especially for larger cities or counties, they're going to have Twitter platforms. The director of national intelligence has a Twitter page. Lots and lots of people in government positions have found Twitter to be an effective way to disseminate public information. And by blocking people from interacting with that information, Twitter may be engaged in a very rare ability for a private party to impact your First Amendment right to converse with your political governing bodies. And I wonder what they're going to do. Maybe they'll suspend all activity except for verified government accounts. That might be a way around it, where Twitter could effectively block you except from these government accounts, which they would be required to allow you. They'd have to set up a new type of blue check, hopefully a red sickle or something that they could put next to the government accounts. And then even poor band saps like me would be able to go on there and communicate and converse and participate in their government. So that's an interesting sort of prospect. Sorry. The public nature of the Twitter platform allows us and others to extend the reach of Twitter content beyond our properties. Media outlets and our platform partners distribute tweets beyond our properties to complement their content by making it more timely, relevant, and comprehensive. These outlets and partners also add value to our user experience by contributing content to our platform. Many of the world's most trusted media outlets, including the Big Black Cock, CNN, Bloomberg, and the Associated Press, regularly use Twitter as a platform for content distribution. Twitter is ubiquitous. Twitter is at home in Virginia. Twitter is registered to transact business in Virginia. It maintains a registered office and registered agent in Glen Allen, Virginia. Henrico County. Millions of Virginians have Twitter accounts and use Twitter on a daily basis. Twitter targets Virginians every minute of every day with advertisements of all kinds and earns millions of dollars in revenues from its Virginia-sourced customers. Twitter's technology platform and information database enables it to target citizens based on audience attributes like geography, interest, keyword, television conversation, content, event, and devices. Now, this is where this is an interesting and this is a novel argument, right? About it's not novel necessarily, but it's new to the courts. The data collection practices of these mega corporations that are just accepting your personal data, your preferences, they're reviewing cookies on your computer, they're doing all of this to deliver content to you to monetize, right? That's what they do constantly. It's really hard for Twitter to suggest, for example, that it shouldn't be brought into a Virginia court because it doesn't have jurisdiction if Twitter is consistently mining the data of millions of people in Virginia. And that's the point they're making. Not only are they mining the data of people in Virginia, they're mining it for the purposes of targeted advertisement to those Virginians. And companies pay to market, to advertise on Twitter based on specific marketing criteria. And one of them may very well be location. Look, we want to buy ad space that will penetrate the Virginia market and penetrate it hard and penetrate it often. We want to penetrate it harder than Matt Lauer is penetrating people. We want to penetrate without their permission, like Matt Lauer is accused of doing. That's what we want to do. So they go to Twitter and they say, we want targeted advertising for Virginians, especially in these various counties, because we have stores or business outreach is there. And so we'll pay this much money to reach 200,000 plus people in these areas. Twitter says, okay, we have the data to get this to that many Virginians. All right. It's really hard for Twitter to argue then that they're not participating in commerce in Virginia and taking advantage of Virginia law, and that Virginians shouldn't be protected from Twitter's actions. So there you go. This is the other side of the big data coin that doesn't get talked about very much. I know a guy who might know some more about this, so I'll see if I can get in touch with him. But this will be very interesting going forward. There are consequences to collecting big data, and we just haven't been enforcing them. Did I see Vic at HawaiiCon? Yeah, I had pictures with him. All right. Here we go. Twitter's targeting capabilities allow it to develop content and act as a political action committee, and, as happened in this case, to squelch the voice and assassinate the character of its political opponents. Twitter makes it possible for advertisers to promote their brands, products, and services, amplify their visibility and reach, and complement and extend the conversation around their advertising campaigns in a variety of ways, through the use of promoted products such as promoted tweets, promoted accounts, and promoted trends. Twitter enables advertisers to target Virginians based on a variety of factors, including the user's interest graph. So, footnote 4, using its proprietary algorithm and understanding of each user's interest graph, Twitter delivers promoted tweets that are intended to be relevant to a particular user. Twitter's goal is to enable advertisers to create and optimize successful marketing campaigns and pay either on impressions delivered or pay only for the user actions that are aligned with their marketing objectives. So remember, this is Twitter's goal. Whatever Twitter says about being a place for speech and all of that stuff, remember what Twitter's actual stated goal is. It's right there. That's what it is. And here's the quotes to show it. Defendant Mayer is a citizen of Virginia. Liz Mayer. Now we have the Virginia link. I wasn't positive which defendant they were alleging. She lives and works in Arlington County. Mayer joined Twitter in either 2007 or 2010. She currently operates a Twitter account titled Brand Value $4B with the handle tag @LizMayer and 37,900 followers. Mayer's Twitter profile discloses that she is a comms strategist. Blunt 16, Walker 12 and 15, Rand Paul 13, Perry 12, Fiorina 10, former RNC online comms director, Tory, libertarian, Arsenal fan. There you go. Mayer claims that she is the U.S.'s leading right-of-center online communications operative. I got to reach out to Liz Mayer, right? I think I need to do that. Should I get Liz Mayer? Should I try and get Liz on the show to talk about this? There's no way she will. But I got to ask. In December 2015, Mayer founded a super PAC called Make America Awesome, whose sole and failed purpose was to block and reverse Donald Trump's ascent into politics by using, quote, unconventional and cost-effective tactics. So let's hit these footnotes real quick. Twitter conducts surveillance on its users, collects data on its users, and sells that data to advertisers and others. The interest graph maps, among other things, interests based on users followed and actions taken on our platform, such as tweets created and engagement with tweets. Mayer was terminated from the Walker campaign shortly after she tweeted derogatory and disparaging statements about the residents of Iowa. Plaintiff was a member of the Trump transition team and is widely recognized for his arguments that the accusations that President Trump and his associates colluded with Russia are false. Mayer is famous for her appearance on CNN, where she referred to then presidential candidate Donald Trump as a loudmouth dick. So there you go, loudmouth dick. Mayer claims that since 2011, she has, quote, advised multiple Fortune 500, FTSE 100, and other publicly traded corporate clients, as well as numerous large trade associations and prominent nonprofits on communications in the US, UK, and the EU. On her LinkedIn profile, Mayer admits that, what do I do for these clients? Anonymously smear their opposition on the internet. More broadly, get shit done. Not a helpful tweet or post on LinkedIn. Not a helpful post on LinkedIn. During Nunes' re-election campaign in 2018, Mayer conspired with and presumably was paid by one or more as yet unknown clients to attack and smear Nunes. True to her word on LinkedIn, Mayer relentlessly smeared and defamed Nunes during the campaign, filming stunts at Nunes' office in Washington, D.C. and posting them online, publishing videos on YouTube that falsely accused Nunes of multiple crimes, repeatedly publishing false and defamatory statements on Twitter, defaming Nunes online and to the press, and filing fraudulent ethics complaints against Nunes, accusing him, inter alia, among other things, of violating House ethics rules. So, Mayer falsely tweeted to her 37,900 followers, among other things, that Nunes, quote, voted for warrantless wiretapping and unlimited surveillance of Americans' emails, that Nunes broke the law when he, quote, spent contributions that are supposed to be used for the express purposes of the PAC or committee in question and not for financing their personal lifestyle choices. That is a legal problem, not just an ethical or optics related one. And that Nunes leaked text messages between a lobbyist and Senator Mark Warner to Fox News. Even after Nunes won the election, Mayer continued to attack him, stating, among other things, that Nunes was, quote, still a clown with big league ethical issues that may well cost him his seat in 2020. This is going to be a very, very tough argument because Nunes is unquestionably a public figure. He is an elected public official, and therefore our ability to make fun of and criticize them is really broad, but still can't knowingly lie about them. But let's see. Look at all these links. Lots of links. As part of her smear campaign on behalf of clients, Mayer was out to stick it to Nunes in 2018. Apparently, he's not into pegging. By her own admissions, she, quote, hates Devin Nunes and dumped a lot on Nunes. Among the false statements published by Mayer in this video is that Nunes is still entangled with a winery implicated in a scandal involving his co-investors, cocaine, and child prostitutes. In this publication, Mayer makes the following false statements about Nunes. Ethical leadership in government. He's invested in a winery that allegedly solicited capital by using underage prostitutes. Really? Mayor published the following statement to the Fresno Bee. OCE, the Office of Congressional Ethics, should prioritize a review of Rep. Nunes's investment and involvement in the Alpha Omega winery and the facts reported by the Fresno Bee. Such review should be undertaken as swiftly as possible. And opposition research, also called Oppo research, is the practice of collecting information on a political opponent or other adversary that can be used to discredit or otherwise weaken them. The information can include biographical, legal, criminal, medical, educational, or financial history or activities. Oppo dumps are used by political campaigns to systematically supply files of damaging information to press outlets, including matters of the public record, video footage from party archives, and private collections, as well as private intelligence gathered by operatives. So, Mayor tweeted, "Holy crap, a yacht, cocaine, prostitutes, winery partly owned by Nunes sued after fundraiser event." Look, a yacht, cocaine, and prostitutes. That just sounds like a good Thursday or whatever. Mayor's tweet with an article by the Fresno Bee attached implied that Nunes colluded with prostitutes and cocaine addicts, that Nunes does cocaine. It implied that, and that Nunes was involved in a Russian money laundering front. One of Mayor's most egregious and defamatory tweets about Nunes was the following. "To be fair, I think the Fresno Bee writing up your investment in a winery that allegedly used underage hookers to solicit investment, an allegation you've known about for years, during which you've stayed invested in it, I might add, did surprise you." At all times relevant to this action, Mayor harbored spite, ill will, actual malice, and a demonstrated desire to injure Nunes's good name and reputation. Aha. So we're trying to use her obvious... They're trying a similar theory here, right? Show the repeated and specific willingness, the hatred, the personal animus, to demonstrate a willingness to ignore the truth or a willingness to lie for actual malice. Demonstrated desire to injure Nunes's good name and reputation. Mayor's tweets about Nunes, for example, referred to the congressman with disdain as Dirty Devin. No, not Dirty Devin. Don't call him that. Defendant Mayor Strategies is a Virginia LLC, active and in good standing. Mayor is the sole member and manager of Mayor Strategies. On its website, mayorstrategies.com, Mayor Strategies claims to be a boutique communications and public relations firm with specialties in online political and crisis communications, as well as Oppo research, formulation, and seeding. Mayor Strategies represents that it is an entirely virtual firm staffed by politics veterans. The firm is lean and mean and brings an aggressive, hard-hitting, presidential campaign-style approach to issues, work it manages and executes for its clients. At all times relevant to this action, Mayor acted within the scope of her employment for Mayor Strategies, acted during work hours and while conducting Mayor Strategies businesses, using a Twitter account that linked back to Mayor Strategies and with the knowledge and actual or apparent authority of Mayor Strategies. Mayor Strategies is liable for Mayor's defamation of Nunes under the doctrine of respondeat superior. Defendant Devin Nunes's mom is a person who, with Twitter's consent, hijacked Nunes's name, falsely impersonated Nunes's mother, and created and maintained an account on Twitter, Devin Nunes's mom, for the sole purpose of attacking, defaming, disparaging, and demeaning Nunes. Between February 2018 and March 2019, Twitter allowed Devin Nunes's mom to post hundreds of egregiously false, defamatory, insulting, abusive, hateful, scandalous, and vile statements about Nunes that without question violated Twitter's terms of service and rules, including a seemingly endless series of tweets that falsely accused Nunes of obstruction of justice, perjury, misuse of classified information, and other federal crimes. Now, for real talk here, these parody accounts, I am highly wary of punishing the parody accounts. But to suggest that a parody account that not only exists, but also tweets at the target of the parody account quite a bit, might just be targeted harassment. I don't know if it is. It might be, though. I'm not quite sure how Twitter defines targeted harassment. But again, as someone banned from Twitter for alleged threats and targeted harassment, who did not create a parody account, who did not specifically target any person or anything like that, suggesting that one account that is solely dedicated to attacking one person isn't targeted harassment, while another one that didn't do that is. This is the question, right? This is the inconsistency, and this is the problem that we have all, that people like me have with this. I would much rather all of this stuff be allowed. I don't care that there's someone making fun of Devin Nunes. I don't care about Devin Nunes at all. Not a wink. I don't care if someone's defaming Devin Nunes. Like, that doesn't, they'll have to face the consequences of their action, but I don't really care. I'm not sad that it happened on Twitter. I'm annoyed that Twitter obviously has different standards about enforcing their rules, though. But the way I would prefer it is if they didn't enforce that rule at all, and more importantly, it just didn't exist, outside of the legal definition of harassment, which would typically be shown with some sort of restraining order or something like that. You could just, look, here's my restraining order against said person. Please take it down. Okay, then we take action. Anyway. Let's see. Including a seemingly endless series of tweets that falsely accuse Nunes of obstruction of justice, perjury, misuse of classified information, and other federal crimes. Devin Nunes' mom says, running around D.C., jumping from Ubers, doing political stunts, obstructing an investigation he was supposed to lead, leaking classified info, and what about Central Valley's water infrastructure? I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of this BS. Hashtag remove Nunes. Hashtag Drew for 22. This is going to be disastrous for hashtag CA22, but please understand Devin Nunes' difficult situation. Between being eyeball deep in a federal obstruction investigation and then cradling the president's balls full time, he just doesn't have time for you anymore. Surely you understand. Now listen, this is defamatory because they can't prove he was cradling the president's balls. I wonder who is paying at Devin Nunes all the money to obstruct justice. Devin Nunes, your district is looking for you. Are you trying to obstruct a federal investigation again? You come home right this instant or no more Minecraft. November 6th, you have the choice between law and order or obstruction of justice. But see, this is political speech. Very much. This is Devin's big problem. If you believe in law and order, vote for Jans for Congress. If you believe in obstruction of justice and perjury, vote for Devin Nunes. When they say obstruction, they're talking about you, Devin Nunes. In her endless barrage of tweets, Devin Nunes' mom maliciously attacked every aspect of his character, honesty, integrity, ethics, and fitness to perform his duties as a United States congressman. And again, in a vacuum, let me be very clear. In a vacuum, devoid of the context of this greater question about Twitter's terms of service. Who cares? Who cares? Right? If we say Devin Nunes sucks cocks in hell or whatever, like from The Exorcist, who cares? You just have to deal with that as being a public figure. Unfortunately or fortunately, whatever you think. But we do have a right to say all of this stuff. We want to say that Devin Nunes is complicit in obstruction of justice and is perjuring himself. Genuinely believe that? Sure. Now, if you know he didn't perjure himself on a specific issue, but you're saying he did, that's, that may be defamation, but sue him for defamation, which of course he's doing here, but he's going to have a really tough battle. But this isn't about the defamation. Make no mistake. This isn't about the defamation. This lawsuit is a torpedo directly at Twitter. Directly at Twitter and their enforcement policies. This is the shot Nunes is taking, I believe. Devin Nunes' mom stated that Nunes had turned out worse than Jacob Wall. Who's this? Jacob Wall has been publicly described as an American far-right conspiracy theorist, fraudster, and internet troll. February 26, Twitter permanently suspended Wall for violating its rules regarding creating and operating fake accounts. Falsely accused Nunes of being a racist, having white supremacist friends, and distributing disturbing inflammatory racial propaganda. Falsely accused Nunes of putting up a fake news MAGA sign outside a Texas Holocaust museum. Falsely stated that Nunes would probably join the Proud Boys. Number 14 here. The Proud Boys have been called a white supremacist extremist and a hate group. Devin Nunes' mom accused Nunes of running with those Nazi scumbags again. If it weren't for that, unfortunately, no masturbating rule. I gotta give it to Devin Nunes' mom. She's got bants. Disparagingly called him a presidential fluffer and swamp rat. Falsely stated that Nunes had brought shame to his family, repeatedly accused Nunes of the crime of treason, compared him to Benedict Arnold and called him a traitor, treasonous shitbag, a treasonous Putin shill working for the Kremlin. Falsely stated that Nunes was 100% bought and sold. He has no interest remaining for his constituents. Falsely accused Nunes of being part of the president's taint team. I don't know if the taint team is... It's not what I think it is. It's the verb taint. I think it's a noun. I think they're talking about the taint noun. The verb taint means to contaminate morally or to affect with putrefaction. A taint is a contaminating mark or influence or a trace of a bad or undesirable substance of quality. Also, it's an inch and a half of hilarity. That's what a taint really is. Falsely stated that Nunes was unfit to run the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Falsely accused Nunes of secretly hating the people he's supposed to serve. Falsely accused Nunes of being a lying piece of shit. Falsely stated that Nunes would lose custody of his children and was going to the pen. Falsely accused Nunes of receiving pay for undermining American democracy. Falsely stated that Nunes was the most despicably craven GOP public official. And that, quote, Devin might be an unscrupulous, craven, backstabbing charlatan and traitor, but he's no Ted Cruz. Wow. Nunes shots fired at Cruz there. Falsely stated that Nunes was voted most likely to commit treason in high school. Falsely stated that the people of California's Central Valley are upright folk who work hard, look you square in the eye, and give you a firm handshake. And then there's Devin Nunes. Which part of that is false? Falsely stated that Nunes is, quote, not all about deceiving people. He's also about betraying his country and colluding with the Russians. Stated, quote, I don't know about baby Hitler, but it would sure as shit abort a baby Devin. Whoa! Falsely stated that the Alpha Omega wines taste like treason. Falsely stated that they definitely don't taste like treason, okay? No! Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to get pliers to pull this stupid cork out. Okay. Falsely stated that Devin Nunes wanted me to tell everyone that he'll be releasing a pic soon to get ahead of that AMI thing, and that it only looks that way because of all the blow. Falsely stated that Nunes might be willing to give the president a blowjob. Wants it to be clear that he's definitely not willing to give the president a blowjob. Trump, you might want to get him off your staff there. Clinton would fire that guy in a heartbeat. Falsely stated that Devin Nunes Speaker Ryan is removing Rep. Hunter from his committee seat because he's corrupt and incompetent. I wonder why he let you keep yours. Falsely accused Nunes of covering up Trump's conspiracy against the United States. Falsely accused Nunes of lying to Congress. Falsely accused Nunes of suborning perjury. Look at this. This goes on. Okay, that's a full glass. I wanted to finish it because of the stupid cork. Falsely stated that Devin Nunes is definitely a feckless cunt. Falsely stated that if you vote for Devin Nunes, the terrorists win. Falsely stated, please don't call Devin Nunes compromised. Look, I gotta stop this for a second. How on earth is this account not suspended off of Twitter? I got banned for way weaker bans than this. Way weaker bans. Why? This is the problem. This is the problem. And literally, this is the legal problem potentially for Twitter. That's why we're focusing on this. Their policies are obviously selectively enforced. Obviously. And they do appear politically motivated. There is no way, based on the people that you have seen thrown off of Twitter, there is no way that this account should stay active. Oh my gosh. False, yeah, he's not at all. He's a complete and total effing traitor. Falsely stated that Nunes was a spy in Congress, passing along information to the subject of a federal investigation. Falsely stated that Nunes knows a thing or two about throwing away evidence. Don't you, Scabbers? Scabbers refers to Ron Weasley's pet rat in the Harry Potter books. Ron Weasley's pet rat. Falsely claimed that Nunes was wanted and hiding and hopes he doesn't get indicted. Falsely claimed that apparently Nunes hopes he does get indicted. Falsely claimed that Nunes would probably see an indictment before 2020, and even falsely stated that Nunes has herp face. Listen, he doesn't have herp face. Many of the tweets were vile and repulsive, including tweets that depicted Nunes engaged in sexual acts with the president. This isn't a sexual act. This is human centipede. Oh, man. Oh. But by the way, like, we are laughing here. We are laughing here. I want to point out a couple things. Now, in fairness, some members of Law Twitter have laughed at this too. They've laughed at this. In fairness. In unfairness. Representing the fact that you bring many, if not all, allegations, even ridiculous ones, in the course of pursuing a defamation case is somehow like aberrant or whatever. Obviously not. And this goes to the question, right? This goes to a question, doesn't it? Several of these people have said that you don't include these ridiculous or questionably or defamatory statements or unquestionably non-defamatory statements that do show quite a bit of personal animus. You don't include those in a lawsuit. That's ridiculous. Is it though? Is it that ridiculous? Is it ridiculous? Or do you have a reason for including potentially non-defamatory statements that show animus, that show malice, not legal malice, but normal malice? Is there a reason to do it? Because apparently no lawyers ever do this. But there's probably a reason, isn't there, that lawyers actually do this. So anyway, I just want to point that out. The learned unemployed on Law Twitter are criticizing employed lawyers. Devin Nunes' mom says, here's a helpful diagram to explain their relationship. And obviously it's a human centipede meme. Devin Nunes' mom hurled repeated insults at Nunes and other members of Congress. For instance, she tweeted the following to Representative Matt Gaetz. You know, Devin Nunes is getting really upset that he has to share Trump's rectum space with you. He was there first. Devin Nunes' mom falsely accused Nunes of spending money at the Spearmint Rhino, a strip club in Las Vegas. You know, I hate to be a nag, but if you hadn't spent it all in Vegas at the Spearmint Rhino, you might still be able to afford your re-election campaign, but what do I know? Devin Nunes' mom falsely accused Nunes of frequenting prostitutes and doing cocaine. These two geniuses want to tell us all about environmental science. Never mind the fact that both of their expertise put together is worth less than a bag of dicks When we have questions about hookers or Vegas strip clubs, we'll call you, okay, Devin Nunes? She falsely professed to know all about the hookers and coke on boats. Oh, there's so much they don't know, sweetie. I also hope they don't know about all the hookers and coke on boats. Devin Nunes' mom even tweeted false and defamatory statements by Mayor. Please don't retweet this. It's going to make Devin Nunes look really bad. The sheer volume of defamatory tweets and the short time period over which they were published is staggering. In or about March 2019, after Nunes suffered substantial insult, humiliation, embarrassment, pain, mental suffering, and damage to his reputation as a result of the unprecedented personal and professional attacks on his character, Twitter finally suspended Devin Nunes' mom's account. Whew! March 2019. Quite a bit of time. Brian Duig says, you are clearly misunderstanding what is clearly written in this lawsuit. Per law Twitter, this text is just a figment of our collective imaginations. Yeah. Oh my God, what is that? X Azriel Bain XX says, did you hear about the whiskey made from diabetic urine? I wish I was kidding. Look up Gilpin family whiskey. Perfect example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. No, they should be banned from life. Holy Lord. In Minecraft. Defendant Devin Nunes' cow, a person who, with Twitter's consent... All right, that was only half the bans. Created and maintains an account on Twitter at Devin Cow for the sole purpose of attacking and defaming Nunes. Devin Cow has 1,204 followers. Mayor actively encouraged her followers to go follow Devin Nunes' cow. No, really. Like Devin Nunes' mom, Devin Nunes' cow engaged in a vicious defamation campaign against Nunes that lasted over a year. Devin Nunes' cow has made, published, and republished hundreds of false and defamatory statements of and concerning Nunes, including the following. Nunes is a treasonous cowpoke. Prosecutors were investigating Devin Nunes. Nunes needs to be investigated. He knew the truth, yet conspired with a criminal, real Donald Trump, to conceal the facts from the investigation. Nunes is a criminal too. 718 more days until your term is up, Devin, unless Mueller indicts you first. 724 more days, Devin, unless the indictment comes first. It's on ranking member Nunes, hashtag Nunes indictment. Devin Nunes is a traitor. Devin Nunes used leadership PAC funds on luxury vacay in his family's native Portugal. Nunes hung out with the Proud Boys at a private invite-only fundraiser. Did he do the cereal test? That's what I want to know. Devin's boots are full of manure. He's utterly worthless, and it's pasture time to move him to prison. Oh no, not the puns! This account really should have been banned for those puns. Devin is way over his head in crime. I bet at Devin Nunes' cocaine yacht and underage prostitutes one Trump over. Hashtag Alpha Omega. The substance and timing of the tweets, retweets, replies, and likes by Mayor, Devin Nunes' mom, and Devin Nunes' cow demonstrates that all three bad actors were and are engaged in a joint effort, together and with others, to defame Nunes and interfere with his duties, employment, and investigations of corruption as a United States congressman. Purpose of the concerted defamation campaign was to cause immense pain, intimidate, interfere with, and divert Nunes' attention from his investigation of corruption and Russian involvement in the 2016 presidential election. In addition to Liz Mayer, Devin Nunes' mom, and Devin Cow between 2018 and present, Twitter authorized the creation and operation of many other incendiary accounts whose sole purpose was and is to publish and republish, tweet and retweet, false and defamatory statements about Nunes. Among these additional Twitter accounts are Fire Devin Nunes, Devin Nunes' Grapes. The additional Twitter accounts followed the same pattern as Nunes' mom and cow and published the same false and defamatory statements. Nunes was involved in underage prostitution, etc. Fire Devin Nunes published memes of Nunes in prison attire. In July 30, 2018 post, Devin Nunes' cow retweeted the following. Man at Kim Strassel went to visit Devin Cow, but not me. I'm so offended. Maybe she didn't want to be associated with the winery whose yacht hosted Devin's co-investors doing coke and getting BJs from 14-year-olds. Wow. See, that is definitely defamatory per se. If, of course, they can show that this person didn't know it to be true with actual malice. Here's one of the real legal problems they're going to have with all of this, though. Again, the legal problem. But I don't think this is as much about the legal cases as they may be putting on, right? The big legal problem here is that these are parody accounts, obvious parody accounts. No one believes that Devin Nunes's grapes are retweeting or are tweeting stuff, right? Like that would be ridiculous. So part of the idea here that they're likely going to hide behind, especially Devin Nunes's cow and Devin Nunes's mom, is that these are obvious parody accounts. They weren't meant to be taken truthfully, but satirically. Now, the frequency and matter-of-fact nature of their tweets may underlie that, or may belie that argument, or may betray that argument, I should say. But that's the argument they're going to make. Look, we're a parody account. We're out here telling the jokes through parody, but we want people to watch. We don't like him, but no one's supposed to believe the lies. We'll see. The Twitter attacks on Nunes were pre-planned, calculated, orchestrated, and undertaken by multiple individuals acting in concert over a continuous period of time exceeding a year. Full scope of the conspiracy, including the names of all participants and the level of involvement of donors and members of the Democrat Party, is unknown at this time and will be the subject of discovery in this action. And here we get to it, right? Discovery. 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 That's what they're after. Make no mistake. They're after discovery. Discovery of the people involved, discovery of the people who paid the people involved, discovery of Twitter's internal policies. Twitter does not want this, by the way. Big tech does not want discovery. If there is one thing big tech is actually scared of, it's discovery. Jurisdiction and venue. The circuit court for the county of Henrico has jurisdiction in this matter, blah, blah. Defendants are subject to personal jurisdiction pursuant to the long-arm statute, as well as the due process clause of the U.S. Constitution. Basically, they're going to say that Liz Mayer being in Virginia, they have personal jurisdiction over. They're going to say that Twitter, obviously Virginia has personal jurisdiction over because of the business that it does in Virginia and how it targets Virginia. But then they're also going to suggest that the two anonymous or parody accounts or whatever, that they have jurisdiction over those because of their links to Liz Mayer. That's the trick that they're going for here. They're going to try and tie Liz Mayer in with them. Brian Naturin says, I thought Devin Nunes' mom was the cow. Thanks for keeping all us truckers up at night. Hey, you're welcome, buddy. Statement of additional material facts. We've gotten 24 pages and we're just now getting to a fact statement. But to be fair, they put a bunch of factual allegations in the party statements. Twitter is a social networking and microblogging service that allows users to post tweets and to retweet and like other posts. A tweet is a short text post delivered through internet or phone-based text systems to the author's subscribers. In general, a tweet is a message posted to Twitter containing text, photos, a GIF, and or video. A retweet is simply a repost of another Twitter's user tweet on a user's own profile to show that user's own followers. Twitter's core product, Twitter, has over 321 million active monthly users. A total of 500 million tweets are sent every single day. 126 million people use Twitter every single day. There are over 69 million Twitter users in the US. Over 36% of all Americans use the platform to publish and republish information. Twitter generates revenues by selling advertising on its platform. In the year end December 31st, 2017, Twitter's total revenue was $2.44 billion. Of that sum, $2.11 billion consisted of revenue received from advertising. Twitter uses its platform, including proprietary algorithms, selectively to convey its corporate institutional viewpoint, its position on issues and candidates for office, such as plaintiff, to influence the outcome of elections, such as the 2018 election for California's 22nd congressional district, and as a dumping ground for Oppo research. Twitter is not a neutral platform, such as an internet bulletin board. To the contrary, as part and parcel of its Twitter's role as an internet content provider, Twitter and its CEO Jack Dorsey actively endorse and promote the many agendas of the Democrat Party. Twitter's terms of service and rules. For people who live in the US, the Twitter user agreement is comprised of terms of service, a privacy policy, and Twitter rules and incorporated policies. Terms of service governs the user's access to and use of Twitter's services, including its various websites, SMS, APIs, email notifications, applications, buttons, widgets, ads, commerce services, and other covered services. Twitter contends that by using services, a user agrees to be bound by the terms. Twitter recognizes that it owes a duty of reasonable care to all persons who use its platform. In order to protect the experience and safety of people who use Twitter, Twitter imposes limitations on the type of content and behavior that it allows. These limitations are set forth in Twitter rules. As a general rule, the Twitter rules prohibit use of the platform for any unlawful purpose or in furtherance of illegal activities. Unlawful purpose and illegal activities include defamation, business disparagement, and insulting words. Twitter represents that it believes in, quote, the freedom of expression and open dialogue, but that means little as an underlying philosophy of voices are silenced because people are afraid to speak up. In order to ensure that people feel safe expressing diverse opinions and beliefs, we prohibit behavior that crosses the line into abuse, including behavior that harasses, intimidates, or uses fear to silence another's voice. To this end, the Twitter rules expressly bar abuse and hateful conduct. Abuse. You may not engage in the targeted harassment of someone or incite other people to do so. We consider abusive behavior an attempt to harass, intimidate, or silence someone else's voice. Hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. Hateful imagery and display names. You may not use hateful images or subjects in your profile image or profile header. You also may not use your username, display name, or profile bio to engage in abusive behavior, such as targeted harassment or expressing hate towards a person, group, or protected category. Impersonation. You may not impersonate individuals, groups, or organizations in a manner that is intended to or does mislead, confuse, or deceive others. While you may maintain parody, fan commentary, or newsfeed accounts, you may not do so if the intent of the account is to engage in spamming or abusive behavior. Twitter's rationale for prohibiting abusive behavior is as follows. On Twitter, you should feel safe expressing your unique point of view. We believe in freedom of expression and open dialogue, but that means little as an underlying philosophy, blah, 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 same thing. In order to facilitate healthy dialogue on the platform and empower individuals to express diverse opinions and beliefs, we prohibit behavior that harasses or intimidates or is otherwise intended to shame or degrade others. Do they? Twitter acknowledges that in addition to posing risks to people's safety, abusive behavior may also lead to physical and emotional hardship for those affected. I want to be very clear. My ban from Twitter involved me making fun of a couple people on one particular day. One day. The same people have accused me of federal crimes, violations of ethics, have suggested that my children should be taken away, have accused me of abusing my children, have accused me of abusing my wife, have said that I am unfit to practice law, unfit as a father. The same people who I merely insulted and was banned from Twitter for have suggested all of these things against me. How's that fair and equal application of the rules going, Twitter? Very, very, very solid, solid enforcement you've got there. Bigotry says it's despicable that she would make a parody account for the most vital and respected member of all of our families. Our cows should be off limits. Making mom parody accounts is lame too. Twitter can suspend or terminate. I'm not going to read their footnote because it says basically the same thing. Twitter can suspend or terminate an account or cease providing the user with all or part of the services at any time for any or no reason, including but not limited to if Twitter believes the user has violated the terms or the Twitter rules, or the user creates risk or possible legal exposure for Twitter. Now, see, Twitter is going to rely on this no reason thing. Hey, we can do it for no reason. No reason at all. Twitter reserves the right to remove content that violates the user agreement, including, for example, content that constitutes or involves unlawful content or harassment. Liz Mayer Nunes' mom, Devin Cow, Fire Devin Nunes, and Devin Grapes repeatedly tweeted and retweeted abusive and hateful content about Nunes that expressly and undoubtedly violated Twitter's terms and rules. Twitter provides a means to report the violations of its terms and rules. Twitter claims it reviews and takes action on reports of abusive behavior and hateful content. I mean, they do sometimes. They do sometimes. Twitter publicly professes to monitor its platform as part of its effort to self-regulate content and conduct and avoid regulation by both state and federal governments. Over the course of 2018, upon information and belief, Twitter's content moderators reviewed the accounts of Liz Mayer, Devin Nunes' mom, Devin Cow, Fire Devin Nunes, and Devin Grapes, and were well aware of the defamation as it was occurring. On information and belief, Twitter users also reported the abusive behavior of Mayer, Devin Nunes' mom, Devin Nunes' cow, and others to Twitter. Twitter did nothing to investigate or review the defamation that appeared in plain view on its platform. Twitter consciously allowed the defamation of Nunes to continue as part of its agenda to squelch Nunes' voice, cause him extreme pain and suffering, influence the 2018 congressional election, distract, intimidate, and interfere with Nunes' investigation of corruption, Russian involvement in the 2016 presidential election. Twitter did absolutely nothing. Twitter permitted Nunes' mom, for instance, to tweet and retweet with impunity throughout 2018, only suspended the account in 2019 after Nunes' real mother, Tony Diane Nunes, complained. They had to get actual mom involved. Actual mom had to come out for that one. Twitter represents that it enforces its terms and rules equally and that it does not discriminate against conservatives who wish to use its public square. Well, I mean, that's bullshit, frankly. There's no other way to say it. That is an abject lie, and Twitter should be ashamed of that lie. They clearly do. Just own it. Just own it, Twitter. This is not true. This is a lie. Twitter actively censors and shadow bans conservatives such as Plaintiff, thereby eliminating his voice while amplifying the voices of his Democrat detractors. Shadow banning. Twitter is infamous for shadow banning. Shadow banning is a deliberate act of making someone's content undiscoverable to everyone except the person who posted it, unbeknownst to the original poster. Hey, YouTube. Shadow banned users are not told that they have been affected. They can continue to post messages, add new followers, and comment on or reply to other posts, but their messages may not appear in the feed, their replies may be suppressed, and they may not show up in searches for their usernames. The only hint that such a thing is happening would be a dip in likes, favorites, or retweets, or an ally alerting them to their disappearance. So infamous for shadow banning conservatives, including Nunes. And then here's some links to a whole bunch of people who mentioned it. In 2018, Twitter shadow banned Plaintiff in order to restrict his free speech and to amplify the abusive and hateful content published and republished by Mayer, Nunes' mom, Nunes' cow, Fire Devin Nunes Grapes, and others. I have long said that the reckoning will come when Twitter bans. Now they're going to try and do it by shadow ban, but when they ban Congress people who win, and they ban them during the campaign, and then those Congress people go on to win, that's when the regulation's going to come. And it's coming. Omar coming. If there's a Democrat House, Senate, and President at any point in the near future, or I mean a Republican House, Senate, and President, Omar coming for Twitter and Facebook. They are going to get regulated. Twitter, Facebook, Google, I'm trying to help. You're going to get regulated. You are driving conservatives to an authoritarian right. You're going to get it. And you're driving your users to vote for them. You don't like Trump? My goodness. Shadow banning him will Obi-Wan that guy straight into office. Absolutely. And you will get regulated. It's coming. Because you're going to overplay your hand, because all of your staff has face tattoos, face piercings, androgynous haircuts, and they all wear the same overalls. And I don't mean the same style. They literally share them. Okay? Jesus. It's coming. Because you have a unity of political ideology on your staff, and they manifest that in their moderation. Shadow banning was intentional. It was calculated to interfere with and influence the federal election and interfere with Nunes's ongoing investigation as a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Twitter's actions affected the election results. Combination of shadow ban, Twitter's refusal to enforce its terms and rules in the face of clear and present abuse and hateful conduct caused Nunes to lose support amongst voters. Twitter's actions also detracted from Nunes's investigation into corruption and Russian involvement in the 2016 election. Twitter's use of its platform as a portal for defamation by political operatives and their clients runs contrary to every tenet of American democracy, including the guarantees of both the First Amendment and Article 1, Section 12 of the Virginia Constitution. In the words of the late Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., quote, "If there is any principle of the Constitution that more imperatively calls for attachment than any other, it is the principle of free thought, not free thought for those who agree with us, but freedom for the thought that we hate." United States versus Schwimmer, Holmes' dissenting opinion. All right, so we're on to the counts. Plaintiff negligence. I'm not going to read the restates parts. Twitter is a modern public square. Packingham versus North Carolina. As the U.S. Supreme Court noted in Packingham, on Twitter, users can petition their elected representatives and otherwise engage with them in a direct manner. Indeed, governors in all 50 states and almost every member of Congress have set up accounts for this purpose. In short, social media users employ these websites to engage in a wide array of protected First Amendment activity on topics as diverse as human thought. The court in Packingham went on to observe, in regard to social media sites like Twitter, that these websites can provide perhaps the most powerful mechanisms available to a private citizen to make his or her voice heard. They allow a person with an internet connection to become a town crier with a voice that resonates farther than it could from any soapbox. Vibe Life Films says, "I can't stand the fact that all this stuff is happening to us and not them. I'm sorry, but I think it's time to stop playing nice with these VAs. It's upsetting what's going on. Why not put these guys in the ground? Expose them." Well, you got to have people willing to expose them. And like I said, I've got a very hypothetical video coming out on how and this will be like one of those polished videos I was talking about, on how just maybe a hypothetical anime voice acting mafioso Don, or self-imagined mafioso Don, might just go ahead and control the public narrative about that hypothetical person, his hypothetical fat friends. Next, access to Twitter is essential for meaningful participation in modern-day American democracy. A candidate without Twitter is a losing candidate. The ability to use Twitter is a vital part of modern citizenship. A presence on Twitter is essential for an individual to run for office or engage in any level of political organizing in modern America. That is because Twitter is not merely a website. It is the modern town square. Twitter is equivalent to the private owner of a public forum who has fully opened its property to the general public for purposes of permitting the public's free expression and debate. That, in fact, what Twitter has always claimed to be. Its stated mission is to, quote, "give everyone the power to create and share ideas instantly without barriers." Its self-proclaimed guiding principle is that, quote, "we believe in free expression and believe every voice has the power to impact the world," and is referred to itself as the live public square, a forum where conversations happen. As the private operator of a public square, Twitter owed Nunes a duty to exercise ordinary and reasonable care in the operation of its platform so as not to cause harm. Twitter breached its duty of reasonable care. Twitter used its platform and allowed its platform to be used by others as a means to defame Nunes. This is a weird, backwards argument, on my opinion. Twitter failed to take action to enforce its terms and rules in the face of known abusive behavior and failed to reasonably monitor and police the platform to ensure that rampant abuse and defamation was not occurring. As a public square, they don't. If they are a public square, they don't have a duty to police the defamation and abuse, in my opinion. In my opinion, they don't. What they did was they had a duty to apply equally the same level of reasonable care to all participants in the public square, whatever that means. But saying that they had a duty to police this stuff, the public square, there's no one policing defamation except for the person themselves. As a direct and proximate result of Twitter's negligence, Nunes suffered actual damages in the amount of $250 million, including pain, insult, embarrassment, humiliation, emotional distress, and mental suffering, injury to his personal and professional reputations. Okay, wait, no, he is actually claiming actual damages of $250 million, and the punitive damages is something else. Good, okay. Count 2, defamation per se. Law of defamation protects a basic constitutional interest, the individual's right to personal security, and the uninterrupted entitlement to enjoyment of his reputation. Gazette versus Harris. Justice Stewart emphasized that, quote, Society has a pervasive and strong interest in preventing and redressing attacks upon reputation. The right of a man to the protection of his own reputation from unjustified invasion and wrongful hurt reflects no more than our basic concept of the essential dignity and worth of every human being, concept at the root of any decent system of ordered liberty. The destruction that defamatory falsehood can bring is, to be sure, often beyond the capacity of the law to redeem, yet imperfect though it is, an action for damages is the only hope for vindication or redress the law gives to a man whose reputation has been falsely dishonored. Surely if the 1950s taught us anything, they taught us that the poisonous atmosphere of the easy lie can infect and degrade a whole society. That's Milkovich versus Lorraine Journal Company. Also citing this, a good name in man and woman, dear my lord, is the immediate jewel of their souls. Who steals my purse steals trash. 'Tis something, nothing, 'twas mine, 'tis his, and has been slave to thousands. But he that filches from me my good name, robs me of that which not enriches him, and makes me poor indeed. Quoting William Shakespeare's Othello. So the deep literary takes here. Good job. Libelous speech is not protected by the First Amendment. That's Bose Corp versus Consumers Union of the United States, cited in Pendleton versus Newsom. False factual statements possess no First Amendment value. Also U.S. v. Alvarez. Let's see. As a citizen of the United States of America and as a United States congressman sworn to uphold the Constitution and laws of this great country, Nunes has a fundamental constitutional interest and entitlement to the uninterrupted enjoyment of his reputation. First Amendment does not sanction slander or license libel. The defendants enjoy absolutely no privilege to use Twitter as a weapon to defame. With the actual or apparent authority of Twitter, the defendants using accounts maintained on Twitter and by Twitter made, published, and republished numerous false factual statements which are detailed verbatim above about or concerning Nunes without privilege of any kind. False statements constitute defamation per se. Statements accuse and impute to Nunes the commission of crimes involving moral turpitude and for which Nunes may be punished in prison in a state or federal institution. The statements impute that Nunes is infected with some contagious disease, where if the charge were true, and it is not, it would exclude Nunes from society. Statements impute to Nunes an unfitness to perform the duties of an office or employment for profit, of the want of integrity in the discharge of the duties of such office or employment. Finally, defendants' false statements also prejudice Nunes in his profession or trade as a United States congressman. Defendants' false statements have harmed Nunes and his reputation. Nunes honorably serves as a U.S. congressman. Defendants' false statements that Nunes is a spy, that he works for the Kremlin, that he is a treasonous Putin shill are especially egregious and insulting. These things are losing arguments. The personal criminal stuff has a chance of not being a losing argument, but the political stuff, that he's a spy or a stooge for another country, I mean, that's been going on forever. You're not going to win that. Considering that Nunes has sworn a solemn oath to uphold the Constitution and laws of the United States and has dutifully discharged his duty to Congress for over a decade, baseless accusation of a connection between Nunes and Russia impugns the honor, integrity, and ethics of a U.S. congressman and illustrates this whole paragraph is nonsense. Defendants made the false statements with actual or constructive knowledge that they were false or with reckless disregard for whether they were false. Defendants acted with actual malice and reckless disregard for the truth for the following reasons. They intentionally employed a scheme or artifice to defame Nunes with the intent to cause him to lose the 2018 congressional election. Defendants in whole or in part acted in concert with clients to accomplish an unlawful purpose through unlawful means without regard for the Nunes's rights and interests. Defendants knew that Nunes had and has not committed any crimes. Defendants knew that Nunes had and has not committed any crimes. Oh, had not and has not. Weird. And did not engage in the unlawful and salacious behavior described in the tweets. There is no evidence in the public record to suggest that Nunes was or is the subject of any criminal complaint or criminal investigation. And there are certainly no indictments, arrests, or convictions of any kind. Defendant statements are total fabrications. Defendants chose to manufacture and publish false and scandalous statements and use insulting words that were unnecessarily strong words and that constitute violent, abusive, and hateful language disproportionate to the occasion in order to undermine public confidence in Nunes and affect the election. Words chosen by the defendants evidence their ill will, spite, and actual malice. Defendants did not act in good faith because, in the total absence of evidence, they could not have had an honest belief in the truth of their statements about Nunes. Defendants reiterated, repeated, and continued to republish false defamatory statements out of a desire to hurt him and permanently stigmatize him. As a direct result of the defamation, presumed damages and actual damages, including blah, 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 blah. $250 million. Insulting words. Defendants' insulting words in the context and under the circumstances in which they were written and tweeted tend to violence and breach of the peace. Like any reasonable person, Nunes was humiliated, disgusted, angered, and provoked by the defendant's insulting words. Defendant's words are fighting words, which are actionable under 8.01 45 of the Virginia Code as amended. Okay. I guess they want that law overturned. As a direct result of the insulting words, he suffered actual damages. So Virginia has a fighting word statute. That's not gonna win. That may get this whole statute struck. Common law conspiracy. Beginning February 2018 and continuing through the present, Mayor, Nunes' mom, Nunes' cow, acting as individuals, combined, associated, agreed, or acted in concert with each other and or with one or more clients or other donors, nonprofits, operatives, or agents of the Democrat Party whose identity is unknown at this time for the express purposes of injuring Nunes, intentionally and unlawfully interfering with his business and employment as a U.S. congressman and defaming Nunes. In furtherance of the conspiracy and preconceived plan, the defendants engaged in a joint scheme, the unlawful purpose of which was to destroy Nunes' personal and professional reputations and influence the outcome of a federal election. The defendants acted intentionally, purposefully, without lawful justification, with the express knowledge that they were defaming Nunes. As evidenced by their concerted action on Twitter, the defendants acted with the express and malicious intent to cause Nunes permanent injury. They constitute a conspiracy at common law. Injunction. In order to protect Nunes' property interests and his reputation, Nunes requests the court order Twitter to reveal the names and contact information of the persons behind the account: Devin Nunes' mom, Devin Nunes' cow, Fire Devin Nunes, and Devin Nunes' grapes, and B, to permanently enjoin and order Twitter to suspend Liz Mayer, Nunes' mom, Devin Cow, and to deactivate all hyperlinks to all tweets, retweets, replies, and likes by them. This is... good luck. The revealing the names and contact informations, maybe. This part, deactivating their accounts and everything, and DFEing the internet, judge isn't going to do that. The judge just isn't going. There's a difference between restricting further defamation and compelling speech, right? Like they may be able to suggest that all of the defamatory tweets that the court specifically finds defamatory be removed. Like all the ones mentioned in the complaint, or that Nunes provides a list and the court goes through. Maybe. And that's a big stretch of a maybe. But permanent, like demanding that Twitter takes an affirmative step to permanently prevent Liz Mayer from talking on the platform? No way. That's outside the court's purview. The identity of those behind these Twitter accounts is a matter of great public concern. Whether the accounts are controlled by wealthy Democrats, the Democratic National Committee, or an opposition research firm such as Fusion, the Russians, the Chinese, or some other foreign government, or, by the way, Hong Kong rise up. I fully support the state of Hong Kong, the free people of Hong Kong. Or some other foreign government or non-government organization. The corruption of American democracy and society by intentional falsehoods, frauds, and defamation must stop. Nunes has no adequate remedy at law. Without court intervention and an injunction, Nunes will suffer actual and irreparable injury to his property interests and personal rights by the mere fact the defendant's defamatory tweets can be retweeted and republished forever by third parties. Substantial likelihood that Nunes will succeed on the merits of his claims. Well, maybe. Nunes alleges the foregoing based upon personal knowledge, public statements of others, and records in his possession, blah, 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 blah. Substantial additional evidentiary support, which is the exclusive possession of Twitter, Mayor Strategies, Devin Nunes' mom and cow, and their agents and other third parties will exist for the allegations and claims set forth above after reasonable opportunity for discovery. He reserves his right to amend this complaint upon discovery of additional instances of defendant's wrongdoing. He's got to keep Twitter in the suit. He's got to keep Twitter in the suit. He has to do that. And I think what you'll find is most of this lawsuit is drafted for the sole purpose of attempting to keep Twitter in the suit. All the stuff about these things and how hurt he was, I don't buy it for a minute. I don't believe that it constructively impacted his election results. I don't believe he was personally damaged by it. I don't believe it for a second. I believe it's all in there to provide enough basis for the judge to keep Twitter in the suit for discovery, because Twitter is the party that can't say they don't have it, right? Twitter keeps everything. Now, Mayor, she's going to say she doesn't know who they are. Devin Nunes' mom is going to say they don't know who Mayor is, Nunes' cow, blah, blah, blah. Twitter will have everything. Twitter will have the private message records between those accounts, who they talk to. And they'll ask, if they get Twitter into discovery, they'll ask for all of it. Every private message from Mayor. Every private message from Devin Nunes' mom, from and to, and Devin Nunes' cow. Because they're going to be searching for a link between these people. Or they're going to be searching for a two-part link. So-and-so referred me to you as a go-between or whatever. They're going to be looking for that the entire time, and Twitter will have it, even if these other people say, oh, my account was suspended, I don't have access to that, or Liz Mayer said, we have a policy of deleting stuff because our clients are sensitive and blah, 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 blah. They've got to keep Twitter in the suit. They're also going to be looking for Twitter's internal documents on how it does shadow banning and all of that stuff. Of course, they're going to be looking for private communications amongst Twitter staff. They're going to depose Twitter staff. This is about discovery. This lawsuit is about discovery. It's not about what they're putting out there. Sometimes it's about discovery, and the discovery is worth it. I don't think the judge can do half of what they asked. I know there's no way they're going to order $250 million, but they've got to keep Twitter in the suit so they can do discovery. Because if Nunes can discover this, he can show that it was a sham by his political opponents. He can do all that. He can also make it a clarion call for conservatives against Twitter. And they can maybe even force Twitter to change going into 2020 election. That's the point of this. That's what they're after. So a whole bunch of stuff, bunch of money they're asking for. A total of look, only $600 million total. Yeah, plus interest. So there's the lawsuit. Now, where did it go? Because this was filed back in like April of last year. Filed March 19th. March 19th it was filed. So I do have an update on this. This is one of the most recent ones. This is from the Federalist. Federalist is obviously a biased news source. That's okay for this purpose. I mean, they're all biased, right? But just know that it is the Federalist. They tend to lean right. They're going to be sympathetic towards Nunes here. But let's... Yeah. When he sued Twitter in Virginia court for negligence over multiple cases of defamation, he was mocked and laughed at for thinking his case would accomplish anything. Following a Virginia judge's ruling last week, this is October 2nd, excuse me, that Nunes' suit could proceed to trial in the Old Dominion. It may be Nunes who gets the last laugh. Nunes was first elected to Congress. Who cares? The lawsuits, which are separate yet intertwined, allege defamation against Nunes by the owners of 2 anonymous Twitter accounts, and Liz Mayer, political consultant. Suit against Twitter alleges negligence by the social media company. What is... Oh, there's some... Never mind. Let's see. I think they have a letter from the judge. Okay, so here we go. While Twitter lawyers eagerly dismissed Nunes' lawsuits as a joke, who does this sound like? Who do you think this might have been? While Twitter lawyers, not Twitter's lawyers, but maybe Twitter lawyers, eagerly dismissed it as a joke. I think maybe they mean lawyers on Twitter, but we'll see. John Marshall, the Virginia judge who was assigned to the cases, has not been so quick to dismiss the allegations of defamation and negligence. Rather than quietly settle with Nunes and pledge to do better going forward, Twitter instead chose to go to war with both Nunes and Marshall. Working in tandem, lawyers for Twitter, Mayer, and the users and organizations running the anonymous account smear operation against Nunes attempted to have the case thrown out of Virginia entirely, claiming that Twitter's user terms required Nunes to file in California. But here's the problem, Twitter. I think Nunes is, in a way, he's alleging a breach of those terms. A much friendlier legal regime for tech monopolies like Twitter. Nunes countered with the arguments that because at least one of the defendants perpetrated the defamatory actions in Virginia, actual harm was committed in Virginia, and Twitter actively does business in Virginia, the proper venue for the suit was Virginia. Marshall took the arguments. See, and this is actually, unironically, this is a good strategy. This is a good strategy. Twitter would have... What? Oh my gosh. Sorry. There's a window just making noise. No, I don't want... Okay. All right. If he were to sue Twitter in California, California would probably have trouble exercising jurisdiction over Mayer. Mayer would say, I didn't direct anything to California. You don't have jurisdiction over me. This makes the most sense. Saying that since they have personal jurisdiction over a known party in the case, and the other known party is Twitter, who has a global reach, and there's obviously no issue in bringing Twitter to Virginia. This probably is the proper jurisdiction for it, for judicial efficiency, if nothing else. Marshall took the arguments under consideration and sought to determine whether the facts supported keeping the case in Virginia. At one point, he asked Twitter to provide him under seal information on the users managing the anonymous accounts in their locations. So he ordered Twitter to provide that information under court seal, and Twitter said no. Twitter the anonymous accounts in their locations, the number of Twitter users in Virginia, and the amounts of revenue earned by the company in the state. Twitter said, no, we're not going to give that out, even though it was under court seal. So wouldn't be public. And if the other party made it public, they'd be sanctioned. Rather than comply with the court order, Twitter gave the judge the middle finger, refused to provide the information demanded by the court. Judge responded. He said, all right, fine. We're going to trial against Twitter in Virginia. A move that could wreak havoc not only on Twitter's bottom line going forward, but also its entire business model. As a result of Marshall's order, the case will now proceed to trial and Twitter will be subject to full-blown discovery by Nunes and his legal team. I can't actually confirm this at the moment. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of the documents so we can actually read that. But that's what they've got. But they don't have the documents pulled up. So I gotta try and reach into Virginia to get the judge's letter from October 2nd. I can see that it's filed, but I can't access it online. This guy says it's going to discovery and going to trial. My understanding is that it's currently still pending a jurisdictional ruling, but you know, I don't know. I haven't seen the documents yet. So here we go. Yeah, they're going to try and appeal that decision right away. But so let's see. While publicly claiming that the company supports transparency and openness, the reality is that the company's operations and algorithms are a black box and one which Twitter executives have fought to keep hidden from public scrutiny. Does that sound familiar to you? We're open and transparent. We've got all the facts. We're going to produce all the evidence. But no. But we don't want to do it. Full discovery could reveal that Twitter's claims of neutral algorithms and no political ideological basis or bias might not have been based in fact. Even worse for Twitter, the state of Virginia does not grant an automatic right to appeal a trial court's ruling while the case is in process. So they may not get that interlocutory appeal that they would want. They may have to wait till the full resolution of the case, then appeal this issue and say it shouldn't have been fought here. And by then, the damage is done. So... Marshall, the trial judge, also rejected Twitter's argument that the global tech company with operations and users in nearly 200 countries would be significantly inconvenienced if it was required to litigate in Virginia. And then here's an interesting part. Additionally, Section 230 of the CDA, which has traditionally provided internet service providers and third-party publishing platforms safe harbor from civil liability claims, may not apply in this particular case given the nature of Nunes' claims against the company. Rather than directly alleging that Twitter should be treated as the publisher of the content at issue, a claim which would be barred under the CDA, Nunes instead claims that Twitter selectively and deliberately neglected to enforce its own policies regarding the accounts that targeted Nunes for defamation. Federal courts have ruled that Section 230 of the CDA does not shield tech companies from so-called promissory estoppel claims. So promissory estoppel claim is where you allege that the other party made a promise to you and failed to do that promise, but that promise was legally binding. Okay? It's almost like a breach of contract claim, but it's an enforceable promise. So let's see what they say. Which arise from a failure to provide promised products or services. Nunes will also likely argue that it's up to a jury to determine based on facts that will arise from discovery whether Twitter was acting as a content-neutral third-party service provider subject to the CDA safe harbor, or whether it was acting as a publisher itself by manipulating its rules and algorithms to promote certain political content. Although, let me add an addendum to this. It's unclear whether or not them acting as a content-neutral third-party service provider actually matters for CDA 230. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that acting as a publisher and manipulating its rules and algorithms to promote certain political content still provides them with Section 230 protection. Okay? Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. That doesn't matter. The courts have been very hesitant to reduce the protection of Section 230. So right here, this is important. Nunes need not even win in court for Twitter to face significant legal and enterprise liabilities going forward, given the risks that discovery poses to Twitter. It's about discovery. It's all about discovery. And man, are people terrified of discovery. This is something to keep in mind with Vic's case. You think Funimation wants discovery? Do you think Monica Rial wants discovery? Do you think she wants all the messages of her saying that fans are racist or whatever, incels, hates them? Do you think she wants those prominently blasted all over the internet? Do you think she wants her presumably lesbian affair that Ron Toye watches, I don't know, allegedly, right? that Ron Toye watches as a cuck. Do you think she wants that blasted all over there? I don't know if that's a true thing, but I heard it on the internet, so it must be, right? It must be true, right? Obviously, I'm joking. Obviously, I'm joking. All right, but anyway, they're terrified of discovery. All of them are terrified of discovery. Hellsnake says Twitter needs to burn down and go away like the dumpster fire it is. From the day it was established until this day, it is trash. I would not be surprised if China had control of it. Well, China would love to. And I'm sure within China's borders, they definitely do. Okay. That's about what I want to do on this one. Look, it's late. I'm not going to do the full segment on this article. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. This article. Oh, wait, no, that's Vic's GoFundMe. Sorry. We've got 252, 840. Awesome job on that. Thank you so much for those who do keep contributing. No, it's not this article either. When Trump calls people filth, he's laying groundwork for genocide. Sorry. This is also from truthout.org. In a few taps on a keyboard, President Trump tried to strip humanity of a whole city. On July 27th, he retweeted that Baltimore was a disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess, and no human would want to live there. Imagine waking up and hearing your president say that you are not a real human. 10 days earlier, thousands chanted, send her back, about Rep. Ilhan Omar, a black Muslim woman, after Trump goaded them at a July 17th rally in North Carolina. Ilhan, how you doing, lady? How's the divorce and that whole sex scandal with your intern where you, in a position of power, manipulated a staffer into leaving his wife and banging him relentlessly? How's that going for you? You disgusting human. Anyway, I'm not going to focus on this article, but this just gives you an idea of truthout.org. Now, I pulled up the archive version of this article, which I can't get rid of the ad thing because it's an archive. But it's amid anime's hashtag #MeToo moment. Right-wing fans attack supporters or something like that. I'm not going to go through this whole article right now. I am going to do a more focused video on this article. But I was going to go through it tonight, but it's already 1. I'm tired. We've got super chats to do, and then I'm going to wrap it up and go chill. I'm not going to go on Twitch tonight. I am going to hang out with my Discord a little bit tonight. So, if you're wondering, but let's get some highlights out of this article before we go, and look for a 10 to 15 minute video tomorrow hitting all of these articles points, and I'll be glad to point out how stupid they are on that video, and you're welcome to like and share and all of that stuff. And that's that. Remember, I talked about I'm going to be doing more of these short, more focused videos. This type of personal drama deserves one of those videos specifically. So there's a lot of stuff about the movement, setting it up. And then, look, personally, I've walked through this kind of nerd culture most of my life. Mignana's voice was part of many a late night spent doing homework with the Adult Swim anime lineup on in the background. Now that voice brings up a very different set of emotions. Why? Why? It's all fake. You lying sack of garbage. Watched on my Twitter timeline, I'm reminded starkly of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh and the victimhood that he and other conservative white men in power love to invoke as part of their anti-feminist backlash. I'm reminded of brave Dr. Christine Blasey Ford and her family enduring death threats. Did we see a single death threat from her? We heard about them, right? Relocating multiple times as a result. Reminded these same men will posture with righteous anger, manipulate their media presence with a shiny veneer of faux concern for real victims, and how even well-meaning people can get swept up in the manipulations. Cue Minnesota lawyer Nick Rekieta, whose Twitter account was suspended last week as a response to the months of harassment unleashed against survivors by his hordes of fans. You lying bitch. That had fucking nothing to do with it, because that isn't true. That isn't true at all. You're a liar and a coward. You don't even know what got me suspended. There's one person who does. One person knows which tweets Twitter picked to suspend me over. And it isn't you, because I didn't send them to you or anybody else. So you're a lying bitch. I have not harassed a single person on Twitter or anywhere else. I come to my area. I do my show. I don't go onto other people's things. I don't tag people on Twitter. I don't go after them on their timelines. I don't do any of that stuff. And I've actively encouraged people against my own policy, by the way, you bitch. I have actively encouraged people not to harass anyone. Even though I try not to ever tell people what to do, I've just said it's not a good idea, and I don't condone or harass or support the harassment of a single person. So you're a lying sack of shit, and you deserve whatever happens to you. I hate this bullshit so much. My Twitter account was not suspended in any way as a response to months of harassment unleashed against survivors. Actually, I'll tell you this much, you lying cunt. Not a single survivor is the target of any tweet that Twitter mentioned in my suspension. In fact, other than as a joke, the person involved in the tweets where I was suspended isn't even a woman connected to the anime industry or a woman at all. So shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, you stupid bitch. You know nothing about what's going on. You didn't even ask me. You didn't even ask me. So fuck you. Unless you call that little whelp of a man a woman. And by the way, that whelp of a man is unrelated to this movement at all. Spin that record, DJ. Rekieta, a friend of Mignana's, began crowdfunding the effort for Mignana's legal expenses. So they quote the GoFundMe. Although Rekieta writes on the same page that he does not act in a legal capacity for Mignana, it was revealed recently that Rekieta has implied to his paying fans that he has been acting in such capacity since May. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't, you dummy. First of all, you're citing the internet's biggest idiot. The internet's biggest idiot, John Kelly, who can't fucking read, because he said that my suggestion that I hadn't read the bill yet was related to the financial bill for Vic Mignogna. I'm talking about a proposed law. It's in the context of the conversation. The Texas legislature's bill on Greg Abbott's desk, unless you're going to suggest that Greg Abbott is also involved in representing Vic Mignogna. That Greg Abbott has billed Vic Mignogna for legal services. You moron. You abject idiot. It's the bill, the legal process by which a proposed law or a bill becomes law when it is signed by the executive of the governing jurisdiction. Take a civics class, ho. What are you talking about? John Michael Kelly is a moron. He doesn't understand basic words. And you're buying this? Or are you knowingly doing it? I missed Super Cuckerot. Oh, Super Cuckerot, I'm sorry. I missed your super chat here. I've got it. Sorry. It says, what? Twitter has double standards. I would have never thought that could be. But on a serious note, I finally got a promotion after 4 years of hard work and harassing my managers. Will you have a drink with me, Nick? Yes, I will. Sorry, I didn't see this until now. Thank you for letting me know in the chat. To you, buddy. All right. Again, your inability to read English does not somehow make me representing Vic or implying that I do. In fact, my paying Discord are far more aware than your moron ass is that I am not representing Vic, because they can read English and they can understand when I say over and over again, I'm not Vic's attorney. Yes, I have some level of publicly available access to Ty Beard in that he comes on my show and discusses whatever he deems fit to discuss about the case. That is so obvious as to be ridiculous. But you can probably think of it as a press release, right? A lawyer is talking to someone who is reporting on the issue, and then that person is conveying that information. That much is obvious. I have him on the show to do it. Ugh. It's not a secret. It never has been. Oh my God. You would know, I suppose you would know, if you ever actually reached out to a person you're going to talk about for comment, but apparently you don't. I reach out to Ty for comment, and sometimes he comes on the show. Sometimes he doesn't. It's a wonder of journalism that you can ask someone for comment and they can either accept or not. This isn't a mystery. This isn't a secret. Only morons think that there's something else going on other than what is represented over and over and over. And only real morons think that they're right because they misread the word bill to be something that it obviously was not in the context of the conversation. John Michael Kelly also, who the hell are you? Okay. Rekieta Law also runs a YouTube channel where he law explains things like travel bans and the incursion of cancel culture. Yep, that's it. Just travel bans and cancel culture. You pick those two? I think I did the travel ban videos a year and a half ago. What are you talking about? I law explain all sorts of things. Oh. I law explain police shootings. I law explain immigration. I law explain defamation, obviously. I law explain what else do we have? God, there's Russell Greer. I law explain frivolous lawsuits by Russell Greer against Taylor Swift. I law explain Maddox's case against Dick Masterson. I law explain tortious interference. I mean, there are a bunch of subjects. Cancel culture is honestly very recent. Starting with Vic. Cynical term for how public figures are criticized on social media for not being politically correct enough. No, no, no. Or for past transgressions. No, cancel culture is nothing to do with criticism. God, you disingenuous pile of trash. Cancel culture is where you actively work to get someone removed from a job based on disagreement. That's it. That's cancel culture. I don't like you. I'm going to remove you from your job. Not because you did something illegal, not because you have somehow harmed someone in relation to your job, not even because you're incompetent at your job, because you hold an opinion I don't like. I'm going to remove you. And not just remove you from your job, but remove you from all jobs going forward. All right. It's a term often used to flip the script on those who bring up important criticisms of these public figures. Oh boy. Rekieta averaged about 2,000 views of video until he got in on the swirling manana allegations. False. This is false. That's not true at all. But what are they trying to do? Discredit, right? They're trying to make it out that I'm profiteering off of Vic. Have I profited off of Vic's case? Absolutely. 100%. I'm reporting news. People want to hear about it. People apparently want my opinion on it. I've gotten exclusive coverage of a couple things. I have profited off of this case. That's all public. You can actually see it. I don't hide my new Project 2 amount. I don't hide my Patreon amount. I don't hide the super chats. I don't hide the Streamlabs. In fact, I read every single one of them. It's as public as it can possibly be. As it can possibly be. Because you can look at all of my income related to YouTube, and you can infer that it's all regarding Vic or whatever, but you could actually go through every single stream and see every single Super Chat or Streamlab. All of them. You can see all of them publicly. Every one of them. I haven't hid anything from that. But they're trying to make it out like I only have a channel because of this, and prior to that, my channel was dying. Absolutely not. My channel has been growing steadily since I started producing content in November of 2017. It was on a very good growth model prior to the Vic case. It accelerated because of the Vic case, absolutely. But it's been on a growth model ever since. Ever since it started. And 2,000 views on average per video is an absolute lie. At that point, views shot up between 25,000 and 200,000. What? I guess? Donations started rolling in. No, donations were already rolling in. And multiple live video updates a week became the norm on the channel. Multiple live video updates a week were the norm since September, actually. When I said I would be doing specifically focused live stream content. So good job being disingenuous. That was only, 5 months before Vic's case started? Just 5 months, though. Doomed from the start lawsuit against his former employer. From what we know from Mignana's first deposition after filing the suit, his connection to Rekieta is fairly recent. Oh my god, I never heard of him. And began when the lawyer reached out. However, there's a discrepancy between the deposition on June 26th and Mignana's February 20 statement where he refers to Rekieta as a friend. There's no discrepancy. He never said, I've been a friend for decades or anything weird, you idiot. Kate is the one who referred Mignana to the lawyer who currently represents him, Ty Beard of Tyler, Texas, an estate lawyer who handled Rekieta's grandfather's estate. That is true. He handled my grandfather's estate. His status as a public figure certainly doesn't help in a defamation lawsuit. During a train wreck of a hearing on September 6th, they're citing to Law Twitter here. That's great. Judge John Chupp even remarked on Vic Money's, we don't have many cases that people show up for, so I mean, obviously there's some following because people are actually here. It's usually very lonely here. Such a statement by the judge, a commentary on widespread public interest in Mignana. No, it's a commentary on widespread interest in the lawsuit. In the lawsuit. Should have foretold the outcome of the case to the plaintiff. Since to qualify as being defamed, one must not be considered a public figure. Oh, expert fucking legal analysis, you dummy. Oh, I gotta turn it off. I gotta turn it off. Public figures can be defamed. Public figures can be defamed, you moron. They can be defamed. They can be defamed. Public figures can be defamed. This is the quality of journalism you're getting. This is the quality of journalism you get when your journalist listens to Law Twitter. That's it. I'm done with the article for now because I'm about to pop, and I need to save it. I need to save it for the video I'm hoping to have up tomorrow of this particular case, or of this particular article. I wouldn't cover it except it attacks me so extensively. There are more and more things. Of course, you can't drink alcohol. Can't do that. I'm clearly in control of the kiwi farms. Oh, and I'm Donald Trump. I'm also the God Emperor himself. So there you go. That'll all be in the video tomorrow. Probably shouldn't have any of this Alabama bourbon, but I'm going to. Because the article calls out the drinking, I'm going to drink. This is Detling, 1867, Alabama bourbon. A bit strong, 54.4% ABV. Ooh. All right. Let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and hit the super chats. If you're someone who leaves for the super chats, thank you for hanging out tonight. If you're not someone who leaves for the super chats, we'll go through them in just a second. I'm not going to do Twitch tonight, but if you are in my Discord and you want to hang out for a chat, I will be on the Discord chat for a little while after the show, after I get a snack. So if you want to pop in there, you know where to go. We can hang out and chat for a little bit. If you're not part of the Discord and you want access to it, Patreon, new project too, $5 a month, either one of those. That's how you get access. Even if you're a spy, you get access. So there you go. All right, guys. If you do leave now, thanks for hanging out. Otherwise, let's hit these justice chats, and then we'll do the super chats, and then we'll call it a night. As Cyber Taz has several in a row here. He says, China good, they love you long time, except if you're not in the United States and no one cares about rainbow letter people. Also says, boycott everybody, the world needs more anarchy. China owns half of the US politicians anyways. Civil War II cyber boogaloo has already begun. And he also says, when you run with the Crips, you might get smoked. Freighter J, thanks for the donation. As Cyber Taz again says, Ridge Wallets likes money. People who vocally protest and boycott stuff tend to not have money. Ridge understands that. Buy a Ridge wallet. That wasn't even a paid promotion by Ridge. That was a paid promotion of S Cyber Taz. This Toasty in the vault, add a pat of butter. I'm dying. I'm melting here. Very, very itchy. Bad Dragonite says, I give it a couple days before Paige Shills start saying it's racist to criticize Blizzard and China in this mess, along with a bunch of people dumb/woke enough to parrot it. Looking forward to Saturday. Should be an interesting show. Yep, Mark Kern always is an interesting guy to talk to, and I can't wait to talk to him about this Blizzard stuff. S Cybertaz says the reptilians control us all. Felipe Mouve says, hey Nick, have you tasted the Crystal Head vodka made by Dan Aykroyd? If I send you the $90, will you buy it and review it? This one? Actually, no, I haven't tasted this yet. This was drank by other people. But yeah, I'll taste it and review it. Not right now because I have enough liquor. But yeah, I have it. Okay. Is that $90 vodka? I gotta talk to Lady Rackets if that's $90 vodka. Why aren't you buying $23 Tito's? What are you doing? Okay, where were we? Sorry. Knight of Hopex says, on the other hand, you probably shouldn't get to hide behind comedy or parody to spread rumors or accuse people of serious crimes. No, you shouldn't. Freedom of speech is hard to defend if the courts never hold us responsible for what we say. Our freedoms require accountability. Hellsnake, oh, I read that one. Bad Dragonite says, every time I see your name, I think Bad Dragon dildos. I mean, every time. I'm sorry. You will always be a dildo to me, Bad Dragonite. Unrelated to the topic, but Misha Collins of Supernatural put his phone number on Twitter and asked fans to text him to kill time while on set just a while ago. I thought you said something before about watching the show. Yeah, my wife and I have watched a lot of Supernatural. He also, Bad Dragonite also says, that article sounding like NBA, not gonna lie. Oh, he and his fans are harassing people without any actual facts behind the claim. Outrage shilling. Hellsnake says, take her down. Nice. Curse lit, curse lit, curse lit. S Cybertaz says, spitting fire. Snack Sheet says, hey, at least people spelled your name right this time. Rekieta. Did they? Oh, no, she's got it right. Thank goodness. And then S Cybertaz says, all out of toast. Streamlabs masks get messed up every time I log in and check. This is fine. This is okay. Let's go on to the super chats here. Andrew War Snowboard says, will David Wise do the OSC to Hong Kong country? I don't know. DCV type. Well, but whatever David Wise does for Hong Kong country, the NBA will be forced to stand for it. DCV Titan says, commie liquor, vodka, duh. Yeah, but is there a specific, like, super commie one? That's what I want. The Anime Collector says, people have this dumb idea that a company being able to do what they want means people aren't allowed to criticize their bad business decisions. True. Salty Pickle says, USA, 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 USA. Or USA, 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 USA. DCV Titan says, want the full commie experience, inject crocodile. Jason Stevens says, you got Mark Kern. Thanks for supporting the cause. Kui Chao Mutai is the way to go. Also goes with cheap cigarettes. So Kui Chao Mutai, I'll see if I can find that. Tribane says, last couple days, I haven't gotten a notification letting me know you had a show coming, even though I have notifications turned on. Sorry, man. I wish I knew. George Lopez says, commie liquor, new lan shan or erguo you by Jew. I can't pronounce that at all, but I'll see what my liquor store has. Vrithika Frostscale says, if Blizzard doesn't reverse their stance about China, I can truly live without any more games from Activision and Blizzard. I hope they get everything they deserve. I can too. I can live without Diablo 4. I really want, that's the only Blizzard game I really like is Diablo franchise, and I can live without Diablo 4. I don't care. Finfrog says, throughthought.org. Throughthought.org. Finfrog also says, my relative trolled me today in PMs about how poor white men suck and struggle to be cool like this and sent your Drex face pic. Law Twitter infected him with the lie AIDS, not to beat a dead horse or anything. Poor white men suck and struggle to be cool. Are they? I guess I was poor back then. That's true. Wait, no, I can't be poor, right? I'm a trust fund baby. Remember? I'm a trust fund baby who spent his entire life trying to work because of all the trust fund baby income. Ugh. Austin Heartless says, grift me harder. The Geek Conservative said, I would suggest Hammer and Sickle vodka. Oh, that sounds good. Alucard SRH, thank you. Gotcha Son says, Nikki, here's 2 banana bucks. Use them well. Rural says, who is more verbose, lawyers or politicians? Probably politicians. Only because sometimes judges tell us to shut up. Serial Foxity says, Devin's mom, best mom. Finfrog says, Shaq, Kobe, tell me how my ASS tastes. Chris Nemo says, solid advertisement for mayor's services. Really, very effective. Good job. Azriel Banex. Oh, I read that one. The diabetic urine whiskey. That's disgusting. Stiga says, free thought. Where? Figatree says, would it be possible for Twitter to delete or withhold incriminating discovery without anyone knowing? I have no idea how the tech works. I mean, they could try. They have a risk, of course, in that in depositions and stuff like that, they're going to ask about it. They don't necessarily know what Devin Nunes has. He says, since they're unscrupulous nihilists, I'm worried they will. The risk of withholding something in discovery is you don't know necessarily what the other side knows or has indications of. So if the other side can say, look, actually, we've got all sorts of reports from anonymous Twitter employees about this stuff that they definitely have, and here they are, blah, 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 blah. They didn't comply with discovery. You're done. You're done. Freighter J says, JMK must not have watched Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a bill upon Capitol Hill. Kalinka Pavlova says, thank you for using the words I, an actual survivor, want to say to this urinalist see you next Tuesday bag. Jason Stevens says, not sure if my last thing got through, but props for getting Mark Kern. And the drink of the CCP is Kwai Chow Mutai. It's pronounced Baiju. Oh, Baiju. And you cheers like Gumbe. It's pronounced Baiju, of course it is. Mad Black Man Lover Entertainment says, anyone looking for some thug love? And he also says, I'm a thug that likes men. There you go. Insert clever name here says, poor Nikki, your head must be about to implode from the stupid. Yes. Name says, weirdly, Christine Blasey Ford has up and vanished. Why are you trying to track her down? You want to murder her, you hateful monster? JW says, can you explain hours work / time suffered or permitted? My employer is altering my time card to remove early punch-ins and late punch-outs. I'm working that time and not being paid for it. Man, you need to talk to an employment lawyer in your state. If you are in the workplace doing work for that for those hours, then you should be compensated for it. That's it. That's it. Unless they have a policy against it and tell you to stop doing it or whatever, you should contact an employment lawyer in your state. Now, employment law, people get kind of scared of it because they're like, oh man, if I win, it's a matter of a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 and it's really expensive. Talk to your employment lawyer, again, in your state, because oftentimes there are severe penalties to that company for doing that, and they pay to you. They pay those penalties to you. So many times you'll get 3, 4, 5, 6 times the amount that you lose, something like that. It really depends on it. Sargon's on the crime. So get an employment lawyer. Talk to them about it. Maybe there's regulations in your state that allow them to do that under specific circumstances, and they may or may not fall into it, but check it out. Name says, serious, try and find any photo or statement since. No, I don't want to. It's a losing battle. Gunnar Renee Oy says, may you all be greeted by 99 Virginians in paradise and give you standing to bring a cause of action in the venue. Whammin'. Sakaki Onsai says, funny how Kick Vic is still salty, protesteth much. They're worried, and they're really trying to get as much publicity out of their current victory as they can. And it's up to Vic, man. People ask me every day, is Vic going to appeal? I don't know. I think he should. I would tell him to his face, you should appeal, if for nothing else than to maintain your innocence. I think people will support you. I would tell him that to his face. Absolutely. He'd have to talk to Ty about the validity of the appeal. Before you morons suggest that that's legal advice, it's not. That's image advice. You should absolutely, based on the image, the optics alone, he should continue the fight as long as possible. That's obvious. No matter what law Twitter says, no matter what these morons say about him, just go away for a year. Just go away. You just go away. We'll let you back when we think it's right. That's definitely what'll happen. Of course, they will never, ever let him back. They were never going to. They're all liars. And we're gonna point out how this works soon. Soon. They screenshot. They tell people. They're so insulated that they absolutely just tell people that they're keeping unfavorable people out of the industry. They just tell people. They're that stupid that the decision makers for casting flat out tell random people on Facebook, on Twitter, they tell them over and over and over again. Yeah, we run this mafioso sort of thing. They just say it. That's how insulated this is. That's how ridiculous this is. And if you're an anime fan, you should be fucking pissed. And you can't let this stand. You can't. You can't. They're ruining your shows for nepotism and to run a racketeering ring where they get to pick everything. They insulate themselves from criticism, and we're going to show it. There's nothing they can do about it. Because it's always their own words. Right? Monica Rial. I'm so sorry that came out during Chuck's affidavit. What came out? The fucking casting couch. Of course she's sorry about it. Of course they want to protect the casting couch. Of course they do. Because they don't want people to know how they got their jobs. They never want people to know how they got their jobs or how their colleague got their jobs. Maybe it wasn't then. Maybe they got in before the casting couch. Maybe it was their friend. But they never want to expose the sexual abusers. Why? Because they have power. You want the Weinstein? They've compared Vic to Harvey Weinstein. They have compared Vic Mignogna to Harvey Weinstein. But which producer or casting decision holder has actually been accused of withholding roles for sex? Which one is it? Vic isn't a casting person. He has no casting authority in the industry at all. Which one is Weinstein? Which one is it? There's one person that's been accused. The accuser just miraculously vanished. I wonder if there are direct messages somewhere about that. Oh man. I wonder if there are direct messages somewhere that explain where that accuser went. Huh. I wonder if they're so confident in their control over the industry that they would openly tell someone that they don't really know exactly how they did it. I fucking wonder. These are the people your money to Funimation supports. Remember that. Remember that. I know you're anime fans. I know you like consuming their content. I really do. I get it. I get the struggle. But just remember where your money goes. All right. Sorry, a little side rant there. Like a little side piece. Okay. Finn Frog says, poor is in poor you. Pity terms, I guess. Oh, I gotcha. I actually, you know, the funny thing is, Finn Frog, I wasn't trying to be cool. I was making fun of being uncool. I wasn't trying to be Drexel. I was making fun of the fact that he was bigger, giant muscles. I was making fun of the fact that he is ostensibly cooler than I am. Like, that was the joke. That was the entire joke. Bad Dragonite says, don't worry, everyone is a dildo sometimes. And Mad Chris 2449 says, should I get a degree in underwater lesbian basket weaving? Also, Saturday is my birthday. Well, there you go, buddy. There you go. Eagle Lone, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear that. All right, guys. I gotta buzz out for tonight. Tomorrow night, Second Amendment stream. We're gonna be talking red flag laws with a person who practices in a state in Florida, right? Parkland. Parkland is from Florida. Florida passed the red flag laws, I believe, in a response to Parkland specifically. We're going to talk about a lawyer who deals with them. She is pro Second Amendment. I don't know her position on the red flag laws. I just know that she's a Second Amendment advocate. I have a guess at what her position is, but I honestly don't know. I don't know what the interview is going to be like. I'm very excited for it. Come watch tomorrow. I'll put the announcement out as early as I can on YouTube. I'm going to have my intern put the announcement. I'm going to make the stream early, and my intern put the announcement out on Twitter. I ask you guys to share it. I ask you guys to share the YouTube link, by the way, to the comment. Let people know, please, let people know that stream announcements will come on YouTube. If they follow the channel, they'll get them on the community tab. They'll see them pop up in their notifications sometimes. I don't know how YouTube delivers that, but I'm going to be utilizing it a lot more. I'm going to try and increase engagement with the existing YouTube audience, and hopefully YouTube will allow that information to spread out to other people who might be interested in it. So we'll see. I don't know how all this works. It's kind of a new realm for me. I was using Twitter for marketing until they yeeted me off the internet and out of the public square. But thanks for watching tonight, guys. Let's get this outro going. One moment. Here is an outro playing in the background. Blaine20 says, F for the Kurds. I'm gutted and appalled. What happened to the Kurds? I don't know anything about the Kurds. Blaine, can you send me info on the Kurds or something? Because I don't know what you're talking about. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. If you're on my Discord and you want to participate in a live, an impromptu live chat tonight, I'm going to be doing that. I will not be on Twitch. Please do not go over to Twitch looking for me. However, you're welcome to go follow me on Twitch if you haven't done so yet. I would appreciate it. I am trying to build the Twitch presence, and at some point in the future, I may do some focused Twitch broadcasts with that are unrelated to the lawsuit stuff, just purely Twitch and video gaming and all of that stuff as things kind of shift towards a more permanent online life. That might be more content there. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. It's twitch.tv/Rekieta Law. All right, guys, I got to go. I got something stuck in my throat and I'm about to die. See you tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
And live it, there's no one who's explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lawsplaining tonight. From the wide shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now.